Oh, almost. I didn't check that beforehand. I gotta do this more often. Hello, everybody. Good after day to you all, and welcome to the Strimstream. I am your host, Stream Tom, and today we're gonna be doing some fun stuff. If you can read by the title, which is somewhere around the video, what we're going to be doing today is kind of cool. We're going to be doing the stuff that is right before the epic stuff. You know, we're talking about cream of the crop, some of the best sections of DDO. Because, you know, back in the day, when DDO was in its absolute prime, there were so many amazing quests out there, you know. So many amazing quests. You're talking about, like, the Veil of Twilight, that was amazing. And when the Menace of the Underdark dropped, you had that whole chain. It was so cool with the demons and stuff. Man, we're going to be doing some of those quests today. Because I really want to hit epic levels so I can start smashing some epic monsters and doing the big damage and the big numbers. Of course, that takes time. So, today, we're going to get into that. We're going to be doing some epic quests and things over here on Galanda, best server ever. I'm still playing my Dwarven Warlock, this character that I have right here. Oh, it's looking at the wrong angle. Whoa, Dwarven Warlock. It's pretty cool. I like the way my character looks, which is really important. If you look at my character, you're going to notice a couple things. First, I got this wicked skull in my hand. Wicked skulls are important. If you want to look cool, you need some kind of amazing skull. So skulls are a great way to, you know, fashion out your outfit. I also got this awesome Dwarven axe. It's really mean looking. It's like big and red. I got the crown. I got this cool outfit. Ooh, I'm telling you. Maybe I will check it out, man. But not right now. I can't do it during stream because that's insanity. So I got that cool stuff going on. But the big thing is, what does it actually do? This character is a melee Dwarven Warlock. So the idea is, I get all these Dwarven points here, right? And I get Constitution to damage with my weapon. So my Constitution is huge. I got 43 Constitution. Ooh! Gives me that health point. So I got like 562 health, which is crazy. And I get damage on my weapon. Plus I get to add this light damage. Ooh! Ooh! Ooh. Smashing? You mean like this? Like all these boxes here? I mean, look at all these boxes. Ooh, I can just... Ooh, I can just smash all of the boxes. Like a madman, smashing everything. This is my ship, and I can smash however I please. Indiscriminately smashing everything. If you haven't had the opportunity to play around in the ship, I highly recommend you take the time to explore your own guild ships if you have one, because there's some goofy stuff in the guild ships. One of my favorite things that's in the guild ship is the trap hall. I don't know where it is on my ship. It's somewhere in here, but the trap hall is basically instantaneous death, unless you have evasion and a very, very high reflex save. So, we're going to get started on those epic quests. This character's pretty cool, it's pretty self-explanatory. The best way to explain how to play it, I can just do this right here. So I'm just going to stand here and talk about it. By standing here, you're going to notice that this creature here next to me is going to start dying, this training dummy. That's because this character is essentially like, I can play it while AFK. I don't actually need to be here because it's so strong. I get my health back, kill stuff for me, and if I want to, then I can start smashing it, you know? I can start smashing out this skeleton, not skeleton, smashing out this thing, and it dies pretty fast. But I don't need to do that. Alright, so I'm going to pop open a group. We're going to get going. We're going to have some stuff. How are you guys doing? How are your days going? I was also doing Shard Chain, if you couldn't tell from looking at this. How are your guys' days going? We're going to start with, what's that chain called? The Lords of Dust. Lords of Dust 104. Because I've been having a good past few days, working all the time. It's been pretty good. I'm also about to start a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Level 16 at least. I'm about to start a Dungeons & Dragons campaign with some friends, which is going to be pretty fun, that I've been planning for a while now, so it'll be good. It's always good to get some pen and paper action in between all the hustle and bustle. You know, video games are great, like I can attest to that, and especially Dungeons & Dragons Online. But if you've never actually played Dungeons & Dragons yourself, I highly recommend it. There's multiple different versions. My personal favorite is 3.5, which is what Dungeons & Dragons Online is based off of, so that's the game that I'm currently running. But it's something great to get into, whether through Dungeons & Dragons, or even if you want to try Pathfinder as well. It's a good opportunity. Ooh, Bullerston. Welcome. Just heading over to Lords of Dust right now. But yeah, man, I'm doing great. I haven't had as much chance to play this character as I've really wanted to. My whole plan is I was just going to burn through epic lives in this character. You know, get life after life after life. Grab all those sick benefits. Energy criticals, 9% critical hit chance with all your spells, 10% double strike, stuff like that. But it takes time to unlock epic levels and things, so and level up, especially when I'm working a lot right now, which is great. Really happy to be working a lot. Making the money, you know, not broke, which is good. But, doesn't give me time to play the video games. So, if you want to, like, have a character that's really going to push you and challenge you, that's really going to, you know, show you what the game can really be about, especially this one. I don't want to listen to this song right now. But if you want a character that will push you in this game, you know, and really show you what the limits you can have on a character, don't play this character. Because this character is really easy. I don't really do anything, and all the monsters just kind of die. It's kind of nice. Ooh. Welcome. Why am I a woman? Because I'm Stramtam, man. I'm just Stramtam. That's the character. Stramtam is a woman. When Stramtam gets reincarnated, she doesn't reincarnate into a man. I'd be playing Strimtom. Not normally. I would like to play Strimtom. The problem with Strimtom is on a wizard life that I can never recover from. Because that would involve playing him through his wizard life, and I just can't do that. I cannot play the wizard. Wizards. You know what I'm saying? This is the worst. Some people actually enjoy playing wizards. Okay. Nomon? Is Nomon stuck? Oh, well, he's gone now. A barbarian? I will get to barbarian. There are certain classes that I have left. Barbarian is kind of low on the list of classes to play because I don't know what kind of build to play. Most of my other character classes, I have a build already set out. Like when I play Bard, I'm going to play a pure Spell Singer. I'm going to try to get as much Spell Singer, or like get as much spell damage as possible to see how good that can really be. You know, my Cleric life, I'm going to be playing a Nega Cleric, so a Divine Disciple, but the negative energy one, kind of like that Necromancer Evil Cleric. Get all those evil spells and stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool. I don't know if it's going to be good though. Somebody who's epic tried to join my party, which is kind of interesting. Oh well. But, you know, yeah, so it's Bard, Cleric, favorite soul, I'm probably going to do a Spellcaster, but like a Sun Elf Spellcaster. I think that could be interesting. Or I'll do a Purple Dragon Knight melee. I'm not sure which one I want to do. Maybe like a melee tank, Paladin, a favorite soul, Purple Dragon Knight. I think that'd be pretty cool. But when it comes to like other stuff, like Barbarian, man, I don't know what to do for Barbarian. Barbarian's like, it's so easy to play a good Barbarian. You just go Ravager, you equip a two-handed weapon, and all of a sudden you're like max level in a couple hours. Really super easy to play. So that makes it hard when you're trying to come up with like a terrible build like me. Like this character this is not the best Warlock build that's out there, guys. If you go on the forums, you're going to find way better builds than this one. This one just happens to have a couple niche things that make it kind of good for the way that I like to play it. Because it's melee, it has the option to get around some silly damage reductions, especially things like golems. I rip through them instead of having to actually wait and kill them very slowly. However, you can also avoid that if you play as a fire warlock. You can just use hurl through hell and kind of avoid the entire thing. But because I get to melee and do so much damage with my melee, it actually allows me to keep up in single target damage fairly well. One of the things that warlocks lack in is single target. They got all the AoE, but this melee, look at me swing that axe. That axe, girl. That axe. What's going on, Carlos? How are you doing today? How's your Monday going? Oh man, it's Monday. I forgot about that. Got off work 7 hours ago. Although technically today's my Friday because I was on for the past 5 days. So today's my Friday. I'm happy about that. Get to finally have a day off. So tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna be staying up all night playing Dungeons and Dragons online. You know how you do when you get one day off. Ooh. Yeah, so I can't think of any kind of creative or weird barbarian to play. Because all the ones I want to play just really don't work. I thought it would be cool if I played like an unarmed barbarian, like some kind of brawler type. But the problem with a brawler type barbarian is that brawlers, or brawler type barbarians, can't really use melee effectively without a weapon in their hands. Because your unarmed attacks, there's no way to make them count as lethal weapons. Because obviously you can't multi-class Barbarian and Monk. But even without getting a better attack animation, just the damage is so low on your unarmed attacks, it's really not worth it to just try to use hand wraps on a Barbarian. And so I'm not sure what kind of Barbarian I want to play. I might end up just playing like just a regular barbarian and showing off how amazing they are. Or making like playing a barbarian, making a guide and showing how you play barbarian. You just hold down right click and then you'll kill everything in the entire game. I promise. Ooh. So the trick to this one is you kind of just, especially when you're playing character class like this, you ignore all these monsters here. These monsters, they might look scary and like that you have to pay attention to them, but that's not really important. Instead, you're just going to aggro everything at the same time, which is going to cause massive frame drop. And by aggroing every single monster at the same time into the one room, everything's going to die at the same time. Actually, Monk was my last life. I played a pure Henshin Mystic caster-based Monk, so I used Henshin Mystic. And I tried to get, all of the Henshin Mystic abilities to work. The Key Bolt, the Incineration Wave, things like that. I did everything I could to make sure those abilities were maxed out to see how good they were. The conclusion that I ran into, if any of you are wondering, is that Henshin Mystic, I think, has taken spot in my mind as the worst tree in the entire game. Just because of the pure, from like just, not even from a playability standpoint, which it's not, it's unplayable, how bad it is. But it's mostly that it's also from like, just the design of it. The first big problem with it is Henshin Mystic is staff specialized and is high key based class. Staves don't generate as much key as hand wraps though, or dual wielding. So if you actually try to use a staff, you will not have enough key to use your abilities effectively. However, you can get enough key to use your abilities effectively if you are in Sun Stance, and if you're in Sun Stance, you aren't effectively able to use your abilities because everything's going to make their saves. So that doesn't work. So even though it's staff specialized, staves are the worst weapon for you. After that, all the abilities don't do enough damage. They either don't scale at all, like Incineration Wave, or they scale way too slowly, like Key Bolt. The problem with Key Bolt is no matter what time you end up using Key Bolt, it is always better to not use Key Bolt than to use it. Even at range, it's better to just whip out shurikens and throw them, because Key Bolt does so little damage. And bear in mind, this is using like 6 items to maximize both my fire, and force, crit, and spell power at all times. So yeah, man, it was a massacre. That was like the worst build I'd ever played. It was disappointing. The worst was that some of the cool iconic abilities that are supposed to be at the top of the tree, your Cauldron of Flame. Man, Cauldron of Flame is supposed to look so cool, dude. It's like this Cauldron of Flame, and it does look cool. I'm like, I have to freely admit that. Cauldron of Flame was an awesome looking spell. The problem is, it did effectively 0 damage. Because it only increased in damage when you stood in the center of this circle, so you couldn't move. So because you're melee, if anything moves away from you, you can't move to chase it, so it's useless against all ranged attackers. And then even in melee, it started off with, when I had over 200 spell power, at 25 damage, and it went up by 25 damage every 2 seconds. So after 10 seconds, you're dealing 200 damage a second, which is not enough damage. It's not good enough for like to be considered playable. Back here, Karis. So yeah, that was interesting. I just want to get aggro on this guy. There we go. Intimidate. So it was interesting, and I wouldn't recommend it. I think the worst part about the whole build, though, is when I hit Epic, I was really excited. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to play as a, I'm going to go into Grandmaster Flowers, get 5 passive key regeneration. I had almost 500 key. It was hilarious how much key I could pile up. And then I started playing Grandmaster of Flowers. Grandmaster of Flowers has some of the coolest animations in the game, by the way. All their like attack spells look amazing. Heading on to Servants of the Overlord next. Like, all the attack animations look amazing for all the cool spells, whether it's like throwing like the key bolts and the damage, or like there's like one where you like do like this crazy 360 spin attack and slam your fist on the ground and it explodes. Like, so cool, so cool. All of them don't scale off spell power. No spell power. It scales exclusively off of just character level. So as a result, one, it doesn't scale, so it's essentially useless on anything beyond epic normal. All of the abilities, 100% of the time, which is kind of bad. But to make it worse, it nullifies Henshin Mystic, because if you put points in Henshin Mystic, all that spell power, all those things you got, are totally useless, because they don't, like, you can't scale it into the late game. And then the most disappointing thing of all is you can't even be like a Draconic Incarnation to like use your fire spell power, because fire fire spell power, or like Draconic Incarnation, is charisma and intelligence based, so your ridiculous wisdom doesn't matter. So it was just so depressingly bad. It's not even like, oh, it was bad because the stats were bad. Like, and the fact that I was using flame blades to do my damage wasn't really considering how bad it was, because I did have as an offset, I would very frequently swap out to just like standard hand wraps, that kind of thing, whenever I needed to get that extra damage in. And I was okay with that. The idea that I was using flame blades for 100% of my damage, that was kind of like the weird gimmicky thing. But most of the time, if the monster wasn't fire immune, I could do decent single target melee damage. The problem is, past like level 15, I pretty much always just meleeed. I didn't use my spells that often. But Incineration Wave looks so cool. Ugh, it's hard. It was hard, man. So I don't know. So I think between Henshin Mystic Monk and Barbarian, where I played the Bear Druid with Barbarian, I think the worst was probably the Monk. Do you guys have any really bad builds that you've played? Any kind of builds that kind of like made you hurt on the inside, where you're like, oh man, this is just so bad, or you had an idea but it just doesn't pan out? I'd like to hear about those kinds of builds, because I have horrible builds sometimes. But it makes me feel not so bad when I know I'm not the only one. Unless I am the only one, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with. If I'm the only person out there that like makes bad characters, and everybody else's characters is like flawless, you know, hot off the presses, almost like coming out of the Creation Forge, perfect form. It's like, oh, how do you make your characters? Oh, well, I play 20 Paladin. It's like, oh, okay, then your characters are flawless. Ooh. Frame drop. I hope I don't die here. I have death block though, so I shouldn't. And like 800 health. Do I count if my friends say my builds are bad, but I think they are good? Yeah, man. You have to understand, this is really important. If you play with your friends, and you're still able to get through those quests, that means your build is good. Even if it means, oh, well, your friends just carried you through the quest, then your build is clearly good because you got through the quest. Your build was so bad that your friends took pity on you and did the quest for you, which means every quest in the game you can now do, because your friends will just take pity on you and be like, oh man, your build is so bad here, let me come help you. And then boom, all of a sudden, you're doing every quest, no problem. Super speed. You know? Even some of the bad builds, you gotta think like, oh man, I wonder how many people I can guilt trip into helping me, because they're just like, oh, poor guy with this bad build. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then secretly you're like the mastermind, like, you know, you got these minions to do your bidding all the time.
This magic barrier is different. It is flanked by
I mean, it's hard to say like definitely which builds are bad, because leveling is very different than max level. At level 30, there are definitely some builds that shine above others, but as long as your character is able to hold its own, like you can fight some monsters, or you have a something positive you can provide to the party. As an example, you can like, you know, be constantly healing your allies, that kind of thing. Like if you play a cleric, and even if you have a bad character, if you're playing a cleric, you have devotion spell power, and you keep that healing aura up, you're still going to be providing something to your party. So it's not like all of a sudden, you know, oh, because you're playing cleric and you did something wrong, it's automatically garbage. You're totally safe in that regard. Or similar like Favored Soul. If you can just stay alive while playing a Favored Soul and keep people alive at level 30, that's not such a terrible thing. Obviously, everybody would like to have a little bit more DPS on their side, but even if you can't keep your DPS up at max, as long as you're doing something, you know, it's usually just fine. Die, Kyber Reaver. But again, it all depends on that sort of thing. But like I said, you know, I have a lot of bad builds. You know, I played the challenge Archmage, which actually, if I wasn't doing a challenge Archmage, if I was just playing regular Archmage, Master of Knowledge, the new epic feat, is absurd, and I think it's sleeper OP. Like I think just all the people that play at epic levels just haven't seen it yet. They just don't know how good it is, because they're like, oh, I'm just gonna play my Wolf Druid, or I'm gonna play my Paladin and do like 10 bazillion damage, but they don't realize how good it is to use the Master of Knowledge. Because Master of Knowledge crazy. If you don't see it, I actually because it wasn't on the wiki, I put it on the wiki, so I made the page for it. So I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't seen it, because it's pretty good. But yeah, no, I'm happy about this build. I wouldn't call it a bad build by any means. It's not the best build, but I think it's great for what it does. Like also 45 Constitution's a lot for level 18. So, I mean, I kind of wish I had Rage so I could actually increase my Constitution more, but I do not have Rage. So I think it's a 3rd level spell. I don't know for Warlocks what level Rage is. Master Knowledge doesn't work with Warlock though, so I don't know why you would do that, because it only works with Eldritch Blast, or not the Eldritch Blast, the Wizard Arcane stuff, Arcane Pulse and whatever. Coffee. Trying to keep my energy high. I was out of my house at like 6 o'clock this morning. It's now 7 o'clock, so 13 hours later, I'm still like playing the video games. You know, it's really hard to like sit here and play video games all day. You guys don't understand how hard my life can be sometimes. You know, you think like, I got to go and take care of my kids, or I got to do all those things. But have you ever considered? Wait, Rage is a feat? How is Rage a feat? That doesn't make sense. I don't think Rage is a feat. That guy's wrong. That's crazy talk. But yeah, no, because if you're sitting here and you're like, oh man, I want to get into this game, but I'm really good at video games. You know, I play my Call of Duty or my League of Legends. I'm like top tier, and I want to play a game and have a challenge. Send me a message. I will give you the worst build in the game, and then you can have fun and playing challenge mode DDO. Because I can provide you with some challenge mode DDO builds. Because there's some bad builds out there. Woo! Flame Fang. One of the things that make this character so insanely strong, other than the infinite amount of temporary hit points that I get that refill, it's also the crazy crowd control effects that I have. So first is Entangle, which causes a slow effect on everything that walks into it, which is already good. But then most importantly is Evard's Black Tentacles. Now this spell is amazing because it has spell resistance, but the crowd control effect, I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I feel like the crowd control effect seems to bypass spell resistance a lot anyway. Oh, this guy, Flame Plank, gets stunned. Good recommendation, by the way, if you're playing Warlock, get Power Word Stun. This spell is so dumb. Oh, there's an ant on my desk. Oh, I want to smash it. There's an ant that got into my coffee earlier, and it ruined my coffee, and it made me so sad. I was gonna drink some coffee, and I was like, "What's that floating in my coffee?" And it was ant carcass. I got him. Take that. I am the alpha here. I'm better than some ants. I also need to buy ant traps. Can you guys remind me when I'm done the stream? Remind me to buy ant traps so I can get them all. I gotta go get me some ant traps. But yeah, I don't really have any good character builds in mind. Like I said, because the negative energy cleric, things like that, they might work. But that's probably my favorite. Well, not my favorite. It's one of my many favorite things about this game, why I can play it for nearly indefinite amounts of time. It's just the build diversity and how many different ways you can play a character. Because even if you play a character, like you can play like 10 different paladins, and they're all going to be different. Sometimes you multiclass, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're playing a tank, sometimes you're playing a sword and board, but like you're playing the Vanguard for the extra DPS. Like, there's just way too many ways to play the game. And that's awesome. Maybe it's not too many. Maybe it's just enough. I do like every time you join a party, though, almost everybody's going to have like a different build. Not always, of course, but both of these guys, they're warlocks. They're playing like that kind of like very blasty heavy kind of build. I don't do that. I don't do no blasting. I just sword people. Except I'm hamstringed. That is probably my least favorite thing in the entire game, is the archers that can hamstring you. That just gets on my nerves. You're just trying to walk somewhere and it's like, I can't walk because I got shot by an arrow. I don't care if it's like through the hamstring. Now, I think my build is pretty good. One of the ways you can use to check if your build is good or not is go to the scorecard, and if you see you're the one who's got the most kills, then that means your build is good. Make sure you're just like flexing that muscle all the time. you know. It's how you become a good party member. You have to tell people that you're better than them. Don't actually do that. That would be really rude. Although what you want, I did write a guide on how to play Arcane Archer for the Ranger. One of the best parts about that is because Arcane Archer has very good spike damage, so you can use your sniper shot to get like a really high amount of damage. You can snipe down enemies and steal kills left and right, and to have the top score. So even if you're like not doing the most damage or anything like that, you can just boom snipe the guys right at their low health and get that top score. Ooh, I'm telling you, that's how you do it. Well, maybe I'll have to pop by Home Depot. Actually, I do need to pop by Home Depot. I need to get some acetone, so I'll probably do that this week then. I need some acetone to wash off my the D&D game mat that I have. It's not technically a D&D game mat. It's just a mat with a grid, but it has permanent marker on it, which is silly. You can't use permanent marker, guys. If you're trying to write stuff for D&D or draw stuff, if you're like, oh, I'm going to draw a house on this washable mat, and then you don't do that. The Arcane Archer guide? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me link it for you. Ooh. Ooh. Let me just link that. Boom! Look at that. Instead of helping my team, I was just linking a guide. I'm very proud of that guide for two reasons. One, every time I read back over it, I find another mistake, which means I'm constantly improving, which is great. It's a good source of pride. But more importantly than that is the fact that I think it's funny. I try to write the way that I talk, and that kind of like, I don't know. I try to make it so that if you're reading my guide and you've never met me and you have no idea what I sound like, you read it at the same way that I'm speaking to you right now. But I like the fact that I've had just a lot of people tell me, be like, hey man, your guide's cool, and I just got into the game where I came back to it, and like it helped me like refigure out the controls and whatever, because it's super easy to play. The guide is very well optimized for leveling. It's not optimized for super endgame. So when you're playing something like that, ooh, Darkstorm Helm. I actually want this. I need this. When you're playing this guide, there's almost no dips when you're leveling it up, right? There's going to be very few situations where while you're leveling through this guide, your damage will start to feel lower. It's very, very even. You'll always feel at the same or even greater strength than you did before. Even though the monsters are getting more powerful, more diverse, they got new abilities and effects that they didn't have before. The character build still is able to stand up to those monsters and give you new ways to deal with them as you continue to level up, whether it's through things like sniper shot or having more viable options for dealing physical damage through your arrow morphing abilities, which is pretty cool. No, I didn't want to heal somebody else. No, I gotta get this exhaustion off of me. And so it's not an optimized endgame leveling guide. If you are a person who wants to play endgame, there's another guide on there on the forums for Ranger called the White Feather Sniper. That is an endgame focused guide, and I highly recommend you read that if you're looking for like a very endgame focused guide. The nice thing is you can level with my guide and then respec into See Through the Ego's guide. It's a great guide. I'd highly recommend it.
The spinner of shadows struggles against her weakening bonds, while below her,
And now we're gonna jump over here. Haha. And now I don't have to do anything anymore because I'm just watching. Oh, while I'm here, I forgot to do this. Today we're going to do our VIP weekly gold roll because I forgot to do that while I was on the ship and talking about it. So, if you want to get this VIP gold roll that I'm about to do, because you're like, oh man, all I get is these silver rolls, and I do my roll every single week, and all I do is roll a 17 and get 100 experience points. Man, this totally sucks. Well, let me tell you something, sir. If you actually go ahead and pull out your credit card, swipe it through your computer somehow, all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom, you're subscribed to Dungeons & Dragons Online, which gets you incredible benefits. Not only are you like a smarter, funnier, more attractive person in general, which is just true once you've subscribed to the game. Warlock Party! Oh, sorry, we're on part 3. We're on Spinner. I spaced. Spinner of Shadows. I gotta update this. But, if this is something that you would like, if that's something that you'd like, is to have all those wonderful things, you could do that by just, once you subscribe to the game, you get these gold rolls once per week. It resets every single Monday. So instead of rolling that 17 and getting 100 experience, you roll a 3, and you get 1,000 experience and some platinum. And you know, let me tell you something. My character is super close to the platinum cap. Super close to the platinum cap. In fact, because I'm subscribed to the game, you know, and I earn so much platinum on the regular because I can do so many different options of quests because I'm subscribed, but bam, look at that, hit the platinum cap. I don't even know what to do with my money. I got so much money. Guys, I don't know how to spend all this platinum because there's honestly no real way to spend the amount of platinum that I have. I buy everything in the auction house. My characters, you know, I've got all the dragon scale armors and things. I'm just rolling in money. You ever see Scrooge McDuck? How he goes and he swims in the swimming pools full of money? That's basically what happened to my my character. You know, swimming in puddles of gold because I keep getting them from my rolls and from all the quests that I can do. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell people to subscribe to the game. I do anyway, though. My best recommendation, if you haven't played this game and you want to get into it, because you're like, oh man, this is cool, look at this, I'm going to fight all these spiders. What's this? Why is this narration coming up on the screen? Is this like an actual adventure where somebody's going to narrate to you and tell you the experiences going on? Yeah, it's a good idea, buying the crafting materials. If you haven't played this game before, my best recommendation is just give it a shot. It's totally free. You can play reliably all the way up to level 10, 11, or even 12. Probably 12 before you even have to think about getting any quest packs. And trust me, if you don't know the game, it's going to take you a long time. It's not like, oh, you just leveled to 12. You know, it's not like World of Warcraft or something where, you know, you can level to 100 in 6 hours or something. This game will take you a long time. The quests are intricate, and you're definitely going to walk into a quest and just get butchered by a trap. You're just going to get cut in half by some trap and be like, oh, there's traps in this game. That's a neato. So what I recommend you do is give it a shot, play it, and if you like it, if you really like it, some people recommend, you know, that you should go and, you know, buy certain quest packs and things like that. What I recommend if you like it, subscribe to the game. Instead of buying quest packs, it costs you $15 per month. Gives you access to all the content. Well, almost all the content. There's still classes and things you have to unlock by doing quests, other things like that. But then what you can do is once you've, you know, gone and gotten pretty much all the quests and being able to play certain character classes like the Warlock or the Monk as well that are done by subscribing to the game, it gives you a better chance to kind of understand more of it and see if you like it more. That's essentially what I did. I subscribed to the game for like 6 months or 12 months, and then in that time of just playing the game for like 12 months, I earned so many Turbine points by just playing it that I could buy pretty much every quest pack in the entire game. So now I have all the quest packs, all the races, all the classes, everything like that unlocked. Of course, it did cost me some money, but over, like, you know, $100 for a year, whatever. And yeah, it works out. Plus, I like opening stuff on Elite. But if you're a new player, I don't recommend doing Elite first for every quest. Elite's... The traps are way worse. Like, traps are one of the hardest things to get your head around as a new player, I find, because, you know, it's just something that's so not in every other game. That and actual 3D dungeons, I think, is one of the coolest things about Dungeons & Dragons Online. You play all sorts of other games, and they don't have 3D dungeons. They have 3D dungeons, where it's actually flat. It's a flat linear level, but it just goes in a circle, so it's like 3D. Like, oh, you're fighting in a castle. Oh, it's so cool. It's all these layers and things, but it's actually not really 3D because it's just a path. What up, Titan? I am using a modified UI. This one is called Info Blue, and you can find it. Can I link to it? Well, here, I'll just fight this Hezru. This is how powerful this character build is. I'm just going to fight this Hezru while Googling something on the other screen. And it's dead. Bam! I'm so good at this game. Holy crap. There you go. So if you're looking for he destroyed my potion of invisibility, that jerk. If you're looking for the one that I'm using, you find it right there on latrointerface.com. Unfortunately, there's no DDO interface, so... Oh man, you lost the internet for 3 days. That sucks, man. I don't know what I'd do if I lost the internet. That's not true. I know exactly what I would do if I lost the internet. The last time I had no internet, it was for a 1 week period. It was while I was still in school. And what ends up happening to me, okay, is, yeah, this build rocks. It's the AFK build. I was not looking at my screen. I was doing something else, and boom, just like Hezru, giant otherworldly creature, almost complete immunity to physical damage, 4,000 health, can teleport, can slow you, has this chaos hammer attack. I don't have to look at my screen and I can kill it. So it's a great build. But when I didn't have internet for 7 days, this is a good story. So I was in school, and I was still working as well. And I came home from school one day, and it was a Friday, and then I spent the night weekend partying and stuff, and then I went to a friend's place and was partying, and my roommate at the time was home, and the internet went out. But she didn't call anybody or say anything. She was like, "Oh, the internet's gone. Well, that's probably fine." So the internet's gone, whatever. I didn't know about this though. So I get back home on Sunday, and she's like, "Yeah, so by the way, the internet's gone." And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, "Oh, there's no internet." So I go, grab the router, do everything I know how to do, flush all the ports, reset everything, blah, blah, blah. Standard IT, troubleshooting. Nothing. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of bad. So I call up my internet service provider, and I'm like, "Hey, guys, what do I do? Can I have internet, please?" And they're like, "Yeah, so we're going to get a guy to come out and fix it. But the problem is, in your city, they just installed a bunch of new fiber optic cable all over certain parts of the city that never had access to it. So because of that, their techs were busy for a week. So there was no one who could come visit my house because every single technician in the city was fully booked because they were installing high-speed fiber optic internet all over the city." And I was like, "Oh, great. So, when can you get here?" And they're like, "Next Monday." I'm like, "Well, I don't know what I'm going to do without internet for 7 days." So I wasn't sure what to do. So I sat down in my house, and I'm like, "Oh, God, all I do is play internet video games." I'm like, "Well, let's see." And I looked through my games catalog, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, look. I borrowed Mass Effect, the trilogy, from one of my friends. This is pretty cool. Maybe I'll just sit down and try this game out." My cousin told me when it first came out in 2006, he was like, "Dude, this game's amazing. You should play it." I didn't have an Xbox. And then games kept coming out. I was like, "Dude, this game's amazing." Of course, then we're fast forwarding all the way up to 2014, and I still hadn't played the game. And he's like, "Dude, it's amazing. You should play the game." So I've got this trilogy, and I'm like, "Well, maybe I'll just go play it." Slop in Mass Effect 1. It's about 3 in the afternoon on Sunday at this point, and then all of a sudden, I'm playing the game, and then I look at the time, and it's 6. And I'm like, 6 o'clock? That doesn't make sense. Or I'm like, 6 o'clock, oh yeah, I should probably go eat dinner, But it wasn't 6 o'clock, 6 p.m.? It was 6 a.m. I had to go to school, because I'd been playing for almost, 15 hours straight, and I hadn't even taken a break or anything. That game is so good. And I was like, oh, this is probably a bad thing. So anyway, I go to school, get back, 1 o'clock, spent, a good 6 hours of school. And then I started playing Mass Effect again. And at about 2 in the morning, I quickly ate something, and then I went to bed. And then at some point, I beat Mass Effect 1 and slapped in Mass Effect 2. And over the course of 7 days, I beat Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, doing almost all of the side content. I only slept about 3 hours every 2 days, because I would pull an all-nighter every 2 days. And I barely ate anything. I just went to school, came home, played Mass Effect. It was a lot of fun. I think the best part about that whole experience is that because I didn't have access to the internet, I couldn't download the actual ending to the game. The correct ending. If you haven't played it, I'm not going to spoil it, but if there's a DLC that gives you a better ending, download it. I was destroyed by the ending. It was so bad. I felt like I my week was gone. I spent all this time and it was amazing. Hey, what's up, Cordovan? And so that's what I did when I didn't have a week. Because I would normally play video. I would have been playing DDO, I would have been playing internet video games. When you don't have internet for a week, instead you just completely lose your mind and then play almost what time did I waste? Almost 15 hours every single day on a video game. So I played 90 or 100, almost 100 hours of video games in a week. Just staring at the computer and not sleeping. It was a good time. Oh man. So yeah, today I have the internet, so I don't have to worry about it. Oh, Mass Effect. I lost internet on my one for a week, and it was during school, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do without my internet, so I slapped in Mass Effect 1, started playing it, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And then I was looked up and it was 6 o'clock, and I was like, oh man, 6 o'clock. I gotta eat dinner. But it wasn't 6 p.m., it was 6 a.m. because it was Monday now, and I'd played for 15 hours straight without noticing. And then that continued for the rest of the week with almost no sleep and playing only Mass Effect. If you haven't played that game, highly recommend it. It's like amazing. Like, I know you want to play DDO, just like me. Oh man, I should help my teammates who are like getting butchered by Hezru. Let's see, this guy's right here. So to see this Hezru's like punching me in the back, I don't have to. My character build is designed so that I don't have to pay attention to this. So like my hands are doing other stuff, but I don't have to pay attention to what this Hezru's actually doing because I don't really care. The Hezru means nothing to me. If you guys want to play a character build just like this, go pick up some Warlock. You know, I'm telling you, it's a good game. Oh man, what happened? I'm being beaten up by this Hezru. I like stopped looking at my screen for just a moment. Maybe is it true that I'm too I've got too much hubris? Think I can just fight every Hezru in the game? Hey, thanks man. I really appreciate it. I'm having a lot of fun today, so that's not true. I'm having a lot of fun every day. Maybe it's not just today. But I'm glad you guys are having it. I've been told that the way I do my stream, I've kind of got the auctioneer going. I talk very quickly about a lot of different subjects, but even though I'm talking quickly, I enunciate fairly well, so it's pretty easy to understand at the same time. Oh yeah, man, you should also check it out. If you didn't get a chance to see on the Mamania, where they have the cool stuff like the test server, I highly recommend you watch the live stream that's going on tomorrow. It's going to be super sick. You're going to show off like some of the new stuff. I'm assuming, I don't know. I've been too busy with work to actually keep up on what's happening specifically on the live stream. But it's going to be totally cool. So yeah. Coffee. I hope there's no more ants in this. That was super depressing earlier today when I tried to drink coffee and there was an ant in my coffee. I mean, on the hindsight, like, the ant did ruin my coffee, but the coffee also ruined the ant. So, all 3 quests, Q&A, and Kensei. Rather, currently rolling an Artificer 4th Life. Nice, man. Yeah, so it's going to be a cool quest. They're also going to talk about the Kensei. For those of you that don't know, Turbine has updated the Kensei, so that way you can play the Kensei with any kind of fighting style, because all of the things that explicitly gave you strength previously in Kensei now add to all of your stats. So if you're playing a dwarf like me, and you're playing Constitution to damage, because you just start playing the game, you're like, Dwarven Fighter, that sounds cool. You know, I want to be like a dude with a big shield, and like, I want to be like Gimli or something. So you want to play your Dwarven Fighter, and then you're like, okay, I want to use axes, so you get axes out of the dwarf tree, because this tree is the leftmost tree. So when it's a new player, this is where you're going to gravitate, because it's right here. And you're like, cool. So you put your points in your dwarf, and you get con to damage. Before, you'd put points in the Kensei tree, because the Kensei is then the next tree next to that. So you put points in that, and then you get to Power Surge, and it was like, oh, Power Surge. That gives me strength. Wait, should I not have con to damage? Because Power Surge is just strength. Well, maybe I shouldn't be using con to damage. And you start rethinking everything. But that's silly. I mean, you're dwarf. You got the dwarf bonus with the axes and the con to damage. Now you can just do that. You can just play your con to damage dwarf. It's not going to be better. I have to make this disclaimer. Having the being able to have con to damage and use con from the Kensei tree, you're still better if you want to do a ton of damage. Play your paladin or play your ranger, but it's amazing. And you can just play the game. It's cool. Ooh, Radiance of Radiance lore, comma. That's cool. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see all the ridiculous builds that's going to be coming out. I'm really pumped to see like people with kind of cool characters and things. I've heard a lot of people, especially on the thread that came out on the official forums. They're like, oh, maybe it's too good. That kind of like that's what I want. What I want is I want people to be like, that's too good, and I want it to become the best new build. You know. Because people have to figure it out. There's all sorts of stuff I think is like crazy sleeper OP. Like, I think the Master of Knowledge is probably the most powerful caster spell you can get, or feat and ability you can get in the entire game. I think you could, as a wizard, definitely eclipse almost everybody else in single target damage as a caster. But, again, people have to play it and actually do it, right? Occult Slayer is super fun. Oh man, that's awesome! I really want to play a super cool, like, con to damage Occult Slayer. It looks really cool. How did you heal yourself? Did you just use like the the Occult Slayer like weapon bond thing, or did you use like one of the healings from one of the other trees, like either the passive healing from Frenzied Berserker or like the healing on kill and hit from Ravager? Because I'm not sure which one is absolutely the best. I know the Ravager is crazy good, like Blood Strength is really good, but the problem is, what I want to play is a Dwarven, or not Dwarven, a Warforged Barbarian, because I think Warforged are the greatest. The problem is, all of the healing effects from Barbarian, for a reason I still can't comprehend, aren't like neutral healing based. They're all positive. I don't know what's so positive about murdering people and feeling strong about that, but anyway, it is positive. So as a Warforged Barbarian, you cut it in half, the healing, which is kind of bad. Now you can get Healer's Friend to like counterbalance that, but if you get Healer's Friend, it means you can't like do the stuff where you get Blood Strength for your healing, but then also get Storm's Eye for your damage. Unfortunately, you can't get both of those things if you play a Warforged Barbarian and want to competently heal yourself. So it's like, what is the best choice? What do you do? I don't know how to make a Warforged Barbarian good. I just make them. Healing to the tier 5 ability, yeah. Oh, you get that many bond stacks? Oh, that's cool. I was never sure how easy it was to stack up. Did you dual wield to get more stacks, or did you get enough stacks by just two-handing it? Because I'm still trying to figure out how to make a good barbarian. Yeah, but your oil can bubble. Got to think about it, man. Bubbling oil. Nope. As I've told many people, the one thing Warlocks and even my Ranger build, yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. That still can't make Elminster talk faster. Oh, do you get stacks on Glancing Blows? Oh, that's OP, man. That's crazy. Well, the cool thing is, Dwarven Axes give Glancing Blows, right? Could you imagine if you were dual-wielding Dwarven Axes? So you get, like, those amazing Glancing Blows? Whoa, man. Okay, I'll have to try that out then. Oh yeah, give me some of that. Give me some of that Bomberman Hero music. I don't know if this is a song that I'm allowed to use because I don't have expressed permission from Hudson to use it. But I think Hudson as a company died, so I don't think they mind. Rest in peace, Bomberman. Oh really? Okay, because I know what I did as a paladin build on this character, one of my lives, I did as a a Vanguard, Bastard Sword, two-hand fighter, and shield mastery paladin, and it worked out pretty well because every auto attack was essentially like a cleave, and I was able to do big, good AOE and single target damage without requiring any cleave feats. But I don't know if it would work while dual wielding. I can honestly say I've never tested dual wielding with Bastard Swords or Dwarven Axes. Which is crazy, right? Because dual wielding with Bastard Swords and Dwarven Axes is like the first thing you want to do. Man, how big are these swords? And how fast can I dual wield them? Oh, please, you know. Like, the bigger the sword, the more you want to dual wield it. That's one of my favorite things about like actual pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons. You can just say you're going to do it. It's like, oh, what's the penalty for using, like, a two-handed weapon in my offhand? Or, like, you know, in one hand? Oh, well, you take, like, a -4 or something. Okay, well, I'll just do 2. Ah! Okay, well, that's good to know. That's one of the mechanics I can honestly say I've never tested, so. Yeah, I like the two-handed fighting, because you get the two-handed fighting in the shield, but dual-wielding Bastard Swords, man. Yeah, dual-wield Bastard Sword Rogue. So you're a rogue, and you sneak around, so you're sneaking. Now, some people might hear you from the clanking of your gigantic swords dragging along the ground, but you just gotta put your points in your move silently, and then you sneak around, and then you get them in a backstab. Of course, when you backstab, you actually impale them and lift them over your head, and then, like, tear them in half, and do some kind of, like, bloody scream, like, "Roar!" And then you kind of blow your cover at that point. Yeah. Swords, real proficient. Weapon or sword and shield will produce glancing blows. Okay. Oh wait, is it just Bastard Swords? Is it not also Dwarven Axes? Have I been had? Oh no! Have I been had? Oh, I thought it was Dwarven Axes too. Uh-oh. I've been had. Oh god, the jig is up. Damn it. Oh, no, it is Dwarven Axes? Cool. I don't have any feats on this character to take the two-handed fighting feats. This character is really thin on feats. I had to take Quicken and Maximize for sure. I had to take Precision because if you're going to be a melee, you need Precision. Unless you can actually effectively use Power Attack like a Barbarian, Precision is just way too good not to take with that Fortification penetration. So I'm at about 45% right now, which is really nice. Being able to actually critically hit stuff you're not allowed to critically hit is really overpowered. And then I had to take all the single weapon fighting feats and the critical with the Dwarven Axe. And because I'm a dwarf, I'm missing one. A Dwarven Bastard build. A Dwarven Bastard build, that's all the dwarves, man. My character's a Dwarven Bastard. I mean, really, who would love this face? You know? Why Quicken? Because quickening spells is overpowered. If I don't have Quicken, every time I want to cast a spell, like Power Word Stun, the monster hits me, I don't cast a spell, they're not stunned, and then I'm dead. Quicken is just too good. It means I don't have to put any points in concentration, and then this, all of a sudden, this Dragloth, who's right here, whose spell resistance I didn't beat, I never have to worry about losing any spells. Oh, the game is lagging. Uh-oh, we stopped. Captain, abort mission. Abort, abort. The nice thing about this character is in a situation like this, where the game is lagging and nothing's happening, my character doesn't take any damage, so... Yeah, Quicken is just really broken. I take Quicken on pretty much every single caster. If there's any magic feat I will take, it's just Quicken. In fact, if you're looking for a good build, I've had a lot of people tell me, Strimtom, I don't know how to play a favorite soul, but you always have interesting builds. How do I play a favorite soul? I can't stand to play one. Every time I try to play a melee, it just doesn't do enough damage. Every time I try to play as like a caster, it's like the first 20 levels of the character are just torture. Well, I'll tell you a trick, and it involves Quicken. Play a Warforged. But that's what you say, but Strimtom. You're just trolling me now. Play a Warforged? Are you kidding? You're a healing class, and the class scales off Wisdom and Charisma, and Warforged get minus to both. You're off your rocker. I'm not even going to listen to you anymore. But hold on. Before you turn off that stream, before you touch that dial, consider the following. Do you need Wisdom if you're going to be playing a melee? I mean, what's Wisdom for? Wisdom doesn't help you cast your spells. It doesn't give you mana. It doesn't allow you to cast all your spells. It's just for the DCs. So instead... You play a Warforged, you get your Charisma and your Strength, you dump your Wisdom. Wisdom is 0. It has to be -0 if possible. If you can get your Wisdom below 0 without, becoming helpless, do that. Because you want to not even think about your Wisdom score. Pump up your Charisma, pump up your Strength, get your Power Attack, your two-handed fighting, all that, kill people, but take Quicken. And you're going to find out happening, get that Adamantine Plating going, and this is important, Adamantine Plating. Warforged are interesting. You don't need proficiency with the plating to actually use it. So if you're playing as a Barbarian, a Warforged Barbarian, one of the few reasons is because if Barbarians are only proficient with medium armor. However, if you're playing a Warforged, you can just take Adamantine Plating the feat, and you don't need to be proficient with it. You'll have absolutely no penalty. Same thing with Favorite Souls. They're only proficient with medium armor, but if you take Adamantine Plating, you get to wear heavy without being proficient. So that's incredible and already makes you tankier. Then you get a ton of Adamantine damage reduction, because you're a Favorite Soul and you follow the Lord of the Blades. You get a ton of damage from leveling up and from the War Priest tree with your two-handed weapons. And murdering people with two-handed weapons is pretty cool. And then, oh, a monster tries to hit you. Oh no, guys, I'm about to die. Boom, quick and heal. And 100% of your mana just goes towards healing you and your party members. So even if you have a moderate charisma, you're talking like maybe 20 charisma at level 20, you're still going to be ending the game with like 1600 mana. So you spend the first like 100 buffing yourself with a couple spells. You keep Divine Favor on, which gives you +3 to hit and damage at all times. And then you just go to town on melee. Oh no, someone in your party dies? Boom, quickened resurrection. Oh no, somebody's taken some ability damage? Boom, quick and heal. Oh no, you took a negative level? Boom, quick and greater restoration. And that's a nice thing. Because you don't have any offensive damage spells, you don't even need to think about your offensive damage spells, you can stack up all of the healing ones. You get heal, you get restoration, greater restoration, mass restoration, raise dead, true resurrection. All these spells, a lot of Favorite Souls aren't going to normally take. Well, not all of them, but things like true resurrection, not every Favorite Soul is going to be taking that one. You can just go ahead, boom, and get it almost for free because it's not required. You don't use any damage spells to deal damage. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have a favorite soul who's going to be max level in no time. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this build is going to be like top DPS, but I have played it myself, and I love Warforged Favorite Soul. Warforged Favorite Soul is one of the best melee characters, especially when you activate your Blade Sworn transformation and just go to town on people. It's really nice, too, because you can spend a lot of points in the Warforged tree and become very tanky without having to sacrifice anything, because the Favorite Soul trees suck. Like, oh no, am I going to put points in Angel of Vengeance? Well, Angel of Vengeance is already just straight bad. But even if it's bad, it doesn't matter, because you're not doing spell damage, so who cares? Yeah, exactly. All the removes. Something I also didn't know, apparently Remove Paralysis actually gets rid of the slow effect. So if somebody casts slow on you and you have Remove Paralysis, you can just get rid of that with if somebody casts slow on you, you can remove paralysis that away. So, like, if you're struggling, like, oh man, what am I going to do? Well, you put all your points into War Priest and cap that out. Okay, so that's 40 points. And you put the rest of your points in Warforged Tree and cap that out. And then boom, that's for the rest of your points. Amazing. Uh-oh. Oh, traps. Oh, God. Oh, God. The pain. I'm telling you guys. Warforged, man. I love Quicken. Uh-oh. Rest in peace. I'm going to go see if I can raise that guy from the dead. The nice thing about Warlock, and why I think it's just probably one of my favorite designed class in the entire game, is simply because Warlock is the kind of character that I can just play to help anybody out, you know? For a new player, you don't really need to kind of understand how the mechanics work. The blasts give you enough damage to stay not so much competitive, but to feel like you're helping. You have a lot of interesting abilities that kind of can determine your play style. So, I'm currently playing a character as a melee. None of these inherently give melee damage, or are inherently saying go play melee. But this gives melee damage. All my core enhancements of Soul Eater give melee damage. Enlightened Spirit makes me tankier for melee. And it's cool. I think it's cool the fact that the game just kind of lets you say, hey, you're playing Warlock. We don't care how you're going to play it. Have fun. Go have fun. And even for an intro level character, well, how do I heal myself? Well, you can pick up wands and scrolls. It teaches you about consumable items in the world of DDO, whereas many other games don't have consumable items in the same way. Now, the unfortunate reality is that because it's not a free-to-play class, you kind of have to have some investment in the game to actually have Warlock. Not all players are going to get it for free, and not be able to experience, that as their first character. Although I'd love to see, actually, it would be interesting to see if there were like metrics and statistics for the game, just stuff that for the players to see, stuff like, class most chosen on like a brand new account. Like, what's the first class that's most chosen on a brand new free-to-play account? I think that would be an interesting statistic. What is the class that most new players gravitate towards? Is it the wizard? Is it the fighter? I'm fairly certain the fighter is like high priority for new players, because not everybody wants to play a paladin like a goody two shoes. A lot of people just want to play like a good beefy character. What's a good alignment for Arcane Archer? If you're gonna pick one, I would pick Lawful Good. There's two reasons for this. If you're lawful, when you're doing the quest Prison of the Plains, yeah, my first character was a fighter too. So, when you do Prison of the Plains, because you're lawful, you can always do it. Well, it's because, there's a lot of classes I don't imagine a lot of people play for the first time. Ranger is definitely one of the ones I imagine is super popular for, literally a first login, because everybody's seen Legolas and Drizzt. Everybody's seen Legolas and Drizzt. Those are super common, like both of those guys. Super popular. They're basically like Dungeons & Dragons superstars. If you've ever read any Dungeons & Dragons books or anything like that, or if you've even taken any part in Dungeons & Dragons, or if you happen to play an MMO ever, you've always got Legolas, and you've got somebody named Drizzt everywhere. I remember when Dungeons & Dragons, the Drow first came out, you get 400 favor. Because before Drow came out, that was right around the time that the R.A. Salvatore books were getting super popular with the whole Drizzt series. There were Drizzt everywhere, guys. But they were just regular elves. People tried to make their skin dark to look like a Drow elf, but they were just regular elves. Man, once Drow elf came out, I had 3 people on my friends list that I knew in real life that their name was Drizzt on their main character. It's like, oh, I gotta play Drizzt, Drow Ranger. I gotta play Drizzt. This is a cool guy. So, yeah, I imagine some of the less popular characters, things like Sorcerer is probably less popular, Bard is probably less popular. for like a first time player. Because those things are just not really as appealing, right? Wizard sounds appealing. Sorcerer, if you don't entirely understand it, the first thing you read is, oh, they like a sorcerer's charismatic and whatever, and you're like, oh, is this going to be some guy who like uses magic, or like how do you understand it? And then the creation process is complicated because you only get to pick certain spells. Also, bear in mind, fighter is the first class selection, which is why I also think it's like more popular. It's like number one, or it's very close to the top of the list. So, bam. All right. Nice job, team. Wayloon is next. Always remember, and when you finish a quest, make sure you tell your team they did a great job. Even if they didn't do a great job. They all did. They performed super well. I mean, how could they not? They're all warlocks! They're all warlocks. I like warlocks, but there's a lot of warlocks playing right now. Nice. Fighter's just a good character class, you know? Then we're going to do Wayloon. Wayloon. We're doing Wayloon today because there's a couple of reasons. One of the first reasons we're just straight doing Wayloon is because Wayloon is a quest chain that I never did because it was always too laggy. Where is this quest here? It was always too laggy to play. You couldn't play Wayloon because when you walk in, the whole game just froze. It was like, can't move, and then everyone just gives up. But now, since the server move over, I've done Wayloon every single life. Sure, there's definitely some stuttering lag that's still going on. You can't avoid that. That's going to happen in any instance in the game. But for the first time ever, I see Wayloon turn to Shadowfell, and then the game doesn't crash. It's not like, well, you can actually still play the game and do damage. It's awesome. It's awesome. Oh. Oh, the Artificer I made was awesome. I really liked the Artificer. It was the fastest Epic Life I'd ever done. I'd never done an Epic Life that fast. I managed to get through an entire Epic Life in like 3 days. It was crazy. That character was so good. So first we're going to take Celestial Spirit, ooh, and then Inhuman Nature to give me extra base damage. Celestial Spirit, this awesome enhancement. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but the Warlocks, oh man, I'm a Warlock. I do sacrifices. I'm an evil character because I sacrifice things to like ancient demons. Boom, click Celestial Spirit. Am I so evil? Because I got glowing eyes and I can float and look at the energy come out of me. Basically, Celestial Spirit's awesome because it's like going Super Saiyan. And I love it. And now I'm Super Saiyan. Now I don't even walk. Screw walking. I just float everywhere. I really like Celestial Spirit. It also gives bonus damage, which, how can you complain about 3d6 bonus damage? Came to the conclusion that it was so boring. Yeah, I can see how Warlock could be boring. But that's why it is boring when, you know, if you've played the game a lot, but... Welcome, welcome. Just heading out to Wayloon. Do I have any tips for characters? Depends on what types of characters you're playing. But I can tell you one thing. 10 and 11 is right around the time where the quests really, you know, the level 10 quests and level 11 quests, a lot of them start to become, you know, the non-free-to-play quests. So if you don't have access to all the quests in the game, I can definitely see that as being a slowing down point. Also, that's when you get a lot of different variety in monsters. That's when you start seeing things like demons. Like a lot of demons start showing up. The more difficult drow monsters are having evasion more regularly. So you kind of have to plan your attack. My best bit of advice... It really depends on what type of character you play. But my best bit of advice is if you generally stop at 10 to 11, try reading a guide. Head over to the DDO forums for whatever character you'd like to play. Just Google it. Just type in Google, I want to play, I don't know, a melee favorite soul. I think that would be cool. I think a holy guy, blessed by his god, deals 1 billion damage with a sword. I think that's a cool idea. So just Google melee favorite soul DDO. You'll have a build guide come up in front of you, and just try to follow the guide. Because if you're playing the game, and something's not working right, just give it a shot. Give it a shot. Like, take a look at the forums and see if there's any way you can improve your character, improve the way that you've been playing. Because I could give you specific advice on certain classes, but unless I know exactly the kind of character you want to play, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint exactly where you could improve or how you can make things better. Also, I'm lost. I still don't know where to go in here. I'm not going to lie, I still don't know where to find the first quest. The thing of playing Vanguard Paladin, have you ever played one? Any tips? So this character started out as Paladin, and I played Paladin all the way up to 20, and it was just like whatever, Knight of the Chalice. But then right before I capped, I tested out Vanguard to see if it was good. And it was amazing. And it was so amazing, I reincarnated into Paladin, pure Paladin, Vanguard, and played it to 20. Friends in low places, Wayloon. So the second I hit 20, I reincarnated back to Paladin, back to level 1, and just played that. Just played Vanguard Paladin. It was amazing. I had so much fun. I love Vanguard Paladin. And the moment I hit 20, reincarnated, Blade Forged Vanguard Paladin. And it was awesome. I love Vanguard Paladin. Vanguard's probably one of my favorite trees in the game because of the versatility and the way it supports any character playstyle, largely because almost all the abilities, if you read them, say scale off your highest stat. If you're playing a Dwarven fighter, Constitution's your highest stat because you have Constitution damage. Well, guess what, son? Vanguard is for you because Vanguard can scale off Constitution for your abilities. So, one, it allows you to have any playstyle. When you're going into it with Paladin, there's kind of two trains of thought. You can either use the one. There's two ways that I kind of figured it out. One is either using a Bastard Sword as your area of effect damage. So instead of taking the cleave feats, you just take Bastard Sword, and then you take two-handed fighting. This will make it so every single auto attack you make with your Bastard Sword will be an area of effect. However, this way. I want to go this way. Sorry. Every single auto attack you make with Bastard Sword will be doing an area of effect attack, which is great, but it takes a lot more time to ramp up. And sometimes you'll be really hurting for that cleave. So, what I would recommend to you, play Paladin. Either a Human is the one that I played because it's nice to have those extra feats when you're playing a Paladin because you're not a fighter, but you still want to use all the same feats as fighter. But, play Paladin, max out your Charisma, so you've got your Charisma of 18 if possible, and put points into Charisma every single level. Now you might think to yourself, well that doesn't give you a lot of damage. Bear in mind, you can still take out of Knight of the Chalice, Divine Might, to add your Charisma to your Strength. So you're not going to dump your Strength, just not it's going to be as high as your Charisma. And because your Charisma is so high, your Lay on Hands is going to be amazing, and your saves are going to be super duper high. So pump out your Charisma, take all the Shield Mastery feats. Instead of Power Attack, I recommend taking Precision. The only reason you want to take Power Attack is if you take Cleave, although I think if you just take the Exalted Cleave, or whatever it's called, out of Knight of the Chalice, I think that's actually just better, partially because it has a shorter cooldown than the regular cleave, but mostly because it doesn't take out any of the feats that you would normally need to spend. So you can take Precision instead of Power Attack. And the reason I recommend Precision, Paladins, specifically Vanguard Paladins, get awesome critical hit multipliers. And you want to use those critical hits, man, so you gotta get that fortification penetration that you get from Precision. So essentially, yeah, take Precision, take Shield Mastery. If you're not going to be using a Bastard Sword, then just take Khopesh. Khopesh is super duper strong for that super high single target. And then make sure you take all the stunning abilities out of Vanguard. I did a lot of testing with it to make sure it worked properly. There's massive display bugs on the shield specialization, like the up the left side of the Vanguard tree that gives you the +1 hit damage and armor class while wearing a shield. There's visual bugs. It works just fine. All the abilities work, it does give you the benefit, however visual bugs abound, it doesn't show the attack or the damage. So make sure that you take those, because they're really, really good. And because you max out your Charisma, your stun is going to have an insane DC, because it's 10 plus Paladin level plus Charisma, which is too high. It's super easy to get stunning items, so don't even worry about that. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Oh god. Oh god. I can't believe I just said I'm gonna die. I feel so weak and feeble. Oh jeez. Oh, I made it through. Alright. The secret to DPS? Alright, there's a couple secrets. If you haven't taken it yet, I highly recommend you take Utter Dark Blast out of Tainted Scholar. It changes your base damage from Force into Evil, so it scales off of Light spell power. And then dip into Enlightened Spirit and pick up all the Light spell power additives. Out of there, you can get almost 60 Light spell power, which is not 0. That's like 60% more damage. That's crazy. Additionally, because it's all light spell power and you get little light additives from that tree as well, the extra damage that you get all scales off of one source. So it means instead of having to get a bunch of different damage types, you can just get radiant spell power and then whatever main damage you have. And then finally, the Spirit Blast and Eldritch Burst, again, out of Enlightened Spirit, can be maximized and empowered. They're affected by metamagic feats. So if you have Maximize and Power on them, they do horrendous amounts of damage. So each one for me hits for about anywhere between 800 to 1200 damage. And they have no cooldown and they have no cost. Sorry, not no cooldown, a 5-second cooldown and no cost. Like, it's really funny, if I describe how my Warlock build plays, it's very easy to see why it's overpowered. It's like, well, everything scales off of one statistic, Radiant spell power, and all my abilities have no cost. And enemies can't resist them because there's evil damage is not... I'm not going to say it's not coded properly, but it's not coded the same way as every other damage type in that nothing resists evil damage. Now, I'm not sure about this, but I think this is related to a relic of an age-long past. Back in the day, when DDO first came out, items having a bonus damage on them were insane. One, because they were extremely rare and like nobody had them. But even once you did have them, the extra damage was huge. An extra D6 damage on your attacks? Remember, this is before like the weapon thing, so you're like getting bonus weapon damage, your weapon scales up. If you had like a +4 weapon, like a +4 sword, that was incredible, man. Like, oh my god, level 10 with a +4 sword? Holy crap. Not even factoring in raid gear, like all these items. They weren't like super broken, super overpowered, and they were so good. So, what ends up happening is back then, you could get an item. An unholy item. So weapons that did evil damage. Now to make them really good and coveted, one, unholy damage, clearly it drains your levels if you're a good character. And almost everybody was good, except for the people that wanted those 6 stability items. Ooh, too bad stability hasn't come back yet, but ooh, love those stability items. But because they wanted to make evil damage good, evil damage, essentially, if you had evil damage, you could bypassed all the damage reduction of the enemies. So that way, you had a negative level thing, but it came with that massive benefit. Unholy weapons were more powerful because it just bypassed damage reduction. Super good. Now that Warlocks get evil damage out the ass, and nothing is resistant to it, it's just really broken. It's just crazy broken. Things resist light damage, things resist like force damage, but evil damage, pff, unless you're a golem, you're taking full damage, my brother. So yeah. That's how Warlock is super overpowered. So I don't care what type of damage I do. Snake socket, bat socket? Plus, this aura thing just gives me a billion life. Whatever. And then write it down in a while. Yo, did anybody get the crest? Because I did not pick it up. I guess we never picked it up. I'll have to go back and get that. But yeah, I'm not gonna say like I'm just better than everybody else, but I will say I do sync. I'll have to go back and get that. But yeah, I'm not gonna say like I'm just better than everybody else, but I will say I do sink a lot of time into this game. So much so that there was a point. Somebody picking it up. Oh yeah, man, traps can be really murder. Oh, the door's open. Good. Traps can be really murder. This is gonna sound bad. My best recommendation for this one, especially traps, there's 2 ways you can handle it. There's 3 ways you can handle it. First is to buy a Cleric Hireling, especially once you're at least level 9. Cleric Hirelings will all have Raise Dead. Then once you have your Cleric Hireling, park them at the entrance, so leave them at the beginning of the quest. And then just run through the quest. If you get destroyed by some kind of trap, run to the other side of the trap as a ghost, click the summon button on your hireling. It pulls the cleric to you, and if the cleric is on active, they'll automatically resurrect you, and then you'll be resurrected on the other side of the trap, and bing, bang, boom. You're done. You got past the trap. Good job. Obviously, that's not the way you want to get past the trap. Ideally, you'd want to kill the monsters to get past the trap, or figure out some kind of sneaky way to get past the trap. Ugh, gotta kill these guys. Oh, the lag. There's too many monsters or something. Something's happening. Take yours. Yeah. So that's my best recommendation. Failing that, go ahead and if you have two monitors, I highly recommend 2 monitors. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have 2 monitors. If it's possible, go on DDO Wiki. Every single quest you walk into, Google it, pull up the map, look at the map constantly, and be like, okay, there's the trap in this hallway, and then try to figure it out. But yeah, if you're having trouble, just buy hirelings. Too many people just don't do this, either from a sense of pride or they just forget about it. Go and buy hirelings. Buying hirelings does not make you a bad player. Buying hirelings does not make it so that your character build sucks. If you're playing a fighter and you're not playing with other players, buy a hireling. They don't have healing for a reason. They're meant to have like different focuses. They're tanky. They do decent damage. They have the tactics. So that's why it's just go buy a cleric, man. Highly recommend it. I don't remember what the name of the next quest is. Lesson in Deception? Lesson next. Alright, next is... I love Artie, but it feels weak after 20. It is kind of weak after 20. There's 2 ways to get Artie to be a little bit stronger. The first way is, I recommend if you're playing an Artie after 20, give melee a shot. Dual wield if possible, and go up the battle engineer tree. You'll get a fair amount of damage, makes it a bit easier, but if that doesn't work out for you, make sure you're making good use out of your rune arm. Whatever rune arm you have, make sure you have the appropriate spell power for it, and you're using it whenever you can. Rune arms do horrendously disgusting amounts of damage. Case in point, if you happen to have either the Arm of the Archons, when you pick up the Arm of the Archons at level 13, which drops out of, I believe it's Trial of the Archons, in Amrath. When you pick up that item, yeah, dual wielding, man. I'm telling you, dual wielding is good. Because you get the hand and a half weapons, you dual wield bastard swords or dwarven axes, you get a bunch of extra damage. Highly recommend it. It's very strong. But regardless of all that, sorry, I lost. Oh no, train of thought. Sorry, rune arms. Make sure you're using your rune arms. So Arm of the Archons, as I was talking about just before, it's got a bug in it. A really interesting bug. It's level 13, and it says max charge tier is 4. It doesn't actually have max charge tier 4. Its max charge tier is actually 5, for a reason I don't entirely know. But max charge tier 5 means that at level 13, if you have charge tier 5, you go boom, that thing's going to pop somebody for like thousands of damage. Especially if you have some spell power, some force spell power. And like a few thousand damage is not nothing. That's like not 0. That's a lot of damage, man. You get rune arms that do a lot of good area of effect attacks, talking about like your epic dragon's breath, things like that. Highly recommend, make sure you focus on the rune arm. Don't just use it as something to empower your main hand weapon, but use your rune arm whenever you can. They do a ton of damage for a reason. Having a high spell power, especially with all the spell power that you now get out of Battle Engineer and even Arcano Technician, is amazing. And then second, my second recommendation, give Arcano Technician a try. I know nobody plays Arcano Technician, but I honestly believe that Arcano Technician's probably better than Repeater for an Artie. Arcano Tech right now has been recently revamped. Over what it used to give before, it gives an extra 90 lightning spell power and an extra 4 to the DCs of your evocation spells. On top of that, with the epic feat Master of Artifice, which increases the maximum cast level of all of your Artificer spells by 10, you'll be able to easily be hitting 5,000 and 6,000 damage Blasting Rods. Blasting Rod is an awesome lightning spell. It's a cone effect directly in front of you. Deals a fairly high amount of damage. But 5,000 to 6,000 damage? Ooh! On a very short cooldown? Because it's a spell-like ability? Yeah, man. And then now they even get the Lightning Bolt spell-like ability. Lightning Bolt does a lot of damage, by the way, with that rebound effect, and having it as a spell-like ability as well, there's a reason why Lightning Sorcerers are still able to do a lot. So I highly recommend giving that a shot, and then even better, being in Lightning Damage, Draconic Incarnation, with all that extra lightning spell power, you can easily be hitting upwards of 600, maybe even 700 spell power, without like the super capped investment, because of all the lightning spell power you get directly out of the Arcano Technician tree. I recommend it. Just give it a shot, man. Alright, Tyler G. I need a build that can kill everyone in the party. Well, heal everyone in the party, tank, trap, kill everything in a single hit, find all the doors, the perfect character. Alright, if you'd like to do that, play a Warlock and play solo. If you play a Warlock solo, you don't have to worry about any other players in your party, so you don't have to worry about healing anybody, so everyone is staying at full health all the time. Traps you can deal with, no problem, because the traps, you know, they don't do any damage, because you just have all this temporary health. You take no damage. Great. Killing everything in one hit? Well, yeah, do you see how much damage my bursts do? That bursts do a lot of damage, so you're going to kill everybody in one hit. Perfect. And that's essentially my recommendation for you. Play Warlock. It works out. The perfect character. Although, really, I mean, if I'm being for real, I think Bear Druid is really the character you want. Think about it this way. Bear Druid, it's tanky. Now that the bug is fixed with Intimidate, I have tested it since the patch that went through on Barbarian. The Intimidate bug is actually fixed. You can now Intimidate on a Barbarian. Being able to Intimidate means, boom, you're tanky. You're taking every single thing in the party. But don't forget, you're also a Druid. That means you get healing. Heal everybody in the party now. That's incredible. But now you got a trap. Well, you're a bear and you're a barbarian. Barbarians have the patented and incredibly powerful barbarian trap finding. You run through with your face, boom, now you're dealing with all the traps. Kill everything in one hit. I mean, it doesn't take one hit. It takes about 1,500 hits because bear damage is a little bit low and they can only hit one target at a time. But imagine all those little hits as one hit because it's like your whole attack. And you got yourself a character right there, my friend. You got yourself a character. See, and that's why you guys gotta watch the stream. You know, you think you're like, oh man, I have this good character build. I'm gonna play Wolf Druid. I'm gonna play it with Ranger and Fighter. And I'm going to do this weird, goofy thing where I'm stacking things that shouldn't stack. And I'm going to do a lot of damage. No. Boring. Why don't you play a bear and then rage? Right? Like, so that's why I'm glad I can provide that service to you guys. Alright, so the way the Barbarian was supposed to work is you go into bear form. Out of the Barbarian tree, you pick up... you're like the tree that you focus on the most because the Druid animal tree is essentially trashed here. It's awful tree. There's almost nothing good in it. So you don't really want to spend any points in it. So you take 10 levels of Druid, which gives you access to dire bear form. But then you take 8 levels of Barbarian. But it's important what level you take them at. The first thing is you take your... You have to be taking, I believe it's... Alright, I take Quicken. I took Quicken anyway because I liked quickening all my spells. But you take your first level as Druid, and then you take 3 levels of Barbarian after that. Now the reason that you do this is specific. It allows you to take Quicken, especially if you're playing like a human, right away. But more importantly, by taking your levels of Barbarian immediately after, it means that you can get Cleave out of the Barbarian tree right away. Bears have the worst attack animation in the game, and it's awful and it's atrocious. Holding down right-click normally is this super gratifying thing. Like when I play this character, holding down right-click is one of the best parts about the character. I hold down right-click and all this damage comes up. That doesn't happen when you play Bear. So you want to get that Barbarian Cleave right away. So then once you have that, you want to make sure you have at least 9 levels of Druid by level 12. So that way at level 12, 15, and 18 you can take natural attack for 18% increased double strike chance while in Bear form. Then levels 13 and 14, because you don't have enough feats, and you want to take all the good feats, at level 13, you want to make sure you're taking improved critical hit with bludgeoning. And at level... oh, I forgot to talk to this guy. And at level 14, again, another level of fighter, because it gives you a second free feat. You want to be taking improved shield mastery. Improved shield mastery is going to make you tankier, gives you even more double strike. Of course, you're going to be using a shield because you don't use a two-hander as a bear. And it makes you even tankier. And then you put most of your points in the Barbarian trees. I'm talking about the Frenzied Berserker. You want to get all the way to the top and get the increased metabolism, so while you're raging, you get increased health, or increased healing. But, more importantly than that, because yes, you do want to get the increased healing and the heal over time, which is oh, that didn't work. Oh, I thought that would work. Weird. The healing over time that you get from that, normally people would take blood strength or they would take the weapon bond, but those are both based off your barbarian level or generating weapon bond. Generating weapon bond you can't do because you don't hit very often while in bear form. Army of Shadow. So because you can't generate either of those things, the passive healing from the Barbarian Increased Metabolism, where you get 3d6 while raging, is surprisingly good. Oh, there's a green gargoyle here. Gargalore! Green gargoyle. So yeah, that's really good. And the idea behind it, as well, is you have to make sure you have Dragon Scale. And this is the last most important key of the piece of the puzzle. Ooh, Gargoyle Expertise! I can see the life of gargoyles! Ooh, I really wanted that. Yeah! Sorry, that gets me really excited. Every time I get an expertise, I get excited, because I'm like, ooh, I can see another monster's life bar. Druids can only wear certain types of armor. So if you want to be tanky, you're really limited. You can't really walk around in, like, full plate. That doesn't make any sense. But there's an interesting loophole. As long as the armor is made of a natural material, like, say, leather or something like that, you can wear it. And at level 13 and 14, you take Fighter, which gives you proficiency with heavy armor. I don't know how to get through here. I know how to get through here. I'm just kind of wandering around. Oh, wrong way. It's this way. So having proficiency with heavy armor means, oh, you can equip heavy armor, except, unfortunately, all the heavy armor will lock out all your druid abilities. Well, that kind of sucks. Loophole time. If you pick yourself up some Dragon Scale armor, even the plate, is scale. And scales, my friends, is a natural piece material. So if you pick up some White Dragon Scale, it's very easy, even while raging, to have an armor class of like 80 at level 14. Which means most enemies are going to miss you. And then with the extra physical resistance training you get from Barbarian, and the physical resistance training you get from a shield, and from wearing heavy armor, you'll easily be able to get also over 120 physical resistance rating before level 20. Which is amazing. So now you're super tanky and you take like no damage from any attacks. You're constantly healing yourself by just being raged. And it's really strong. The issue is your damage sucks. And until they fixed Barbarian Intimidate, why can't I move? Until they fixed Intimidate, I can't do anything! Ah! I just want to get over... Oh god. Oh, what's happening? The lag. Help. Help! Oh, I made it. Yeah, baby. And that was the idea behind Barbarian. I wanted to make a character that would be like tanky, and I wanted to see if Bear Druid worked or not. What I learned is that Bear Druid is garbage and you should never play it. But not because it's not cool. It is really cool. And also the attack animations are like amazing and super cool. Highly recommend playing Bear Druid. But eventually this let us in. Highly recommend playing Bear Druid for the animations. But the problem is the actual attack animation, like your auto attacks, it's super clunky. It's not really very fun. Wolf Druid is way more clean. Also has that sick backflip when you like try to trip people. Oh, the quest window won't open. Eventually we'll get in. So that's Barbarian for you. I really hope this quest window will open up, because we're all just standing out here waiting. Damn. What time is it? I have not been paying attention. Oh, it's 8:30. It's only been an hour and a half. I can spend another hour and a half with you guys. So that's the Barbarian build, you know. But yeah, crossbow artificer is just not as the. Actually, I don't think the problem is with the crossbow artificer. I think crossbow artificer is pretty strong. I think the issue is not so much the crossbow artificer is strong. It's that it's completely nullified by Great Crossbow Rogue. Great Crossbow Rogue is so good. Like the damage is so dumb. It's super strong. So. Yep. I actually played a Wizard Life. It was completely tolerable. I highly recommend it. I think Wizard is actually sleeper OP. And I will stand behind this forever. The newly changed Archmage tree, where the Arcane Bolt and Arcane Blast now scale fully with spell power, and you can enhance with all metamagic feats. It's force damage, ladies and gentlemen. Force damage pretty much ignores all damage reduction types. It has a I believe it's a 6-second cooldown, when you put the 3 points into it, and it costs 6 mana for a maximized empowered damage ignoring attack. It's crazy. It's so strong and it's so good. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Man, that's just... It's amazing. If you haven't gotten the chance to try out the new Archmage, it does so much damage. It gets even better when you get into Epics, because once you get Master of Knowledge, which makes it every time you use one of those abilities, you get to stack up an extra 3 spell power and 2% spell critical hit damage. That might not sound like a lot. Like, what are you talking, Mr. Tom? 2% critical hit damage is like whatever. But my friends, it stacks up to 30 times. So that's 60% spell critical hit damage. That's not nothing. In fact, that's like the opposite of nothing. That's like really, really lots. That's like really lots. And really lots is a huge number. 60% spell critical hit damage, so normally your spells would be critically hitting for like 6,000. Now they're going to start critically hitting for about 10,000. Also, it's almost 100 free universal spell power. So it doesn't even matter what type of wizard you're playing, you just get that all the time. So, because it's 60% critical hit damage, and it's the universal spell power, you know what's really fun with universal spell power? Going around and being in like Draconic Incarnation and bursting stuff for like almost 20,000 damage? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, give it a shot. Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, my leg is being attacked by my cable. I open up this chest. Oh no! It's not a real chest! It's Casco, the Mimic! Ah! These mimics are a lot less scary than the ones in Dark Souls. Oh my god. Oh yeah, man. No. I'm telling you, go crazy. Here, if you actually read my build guide, my Acid Arrow build guide, I got another one for you. I have another build guide for you. This is the one I wrote for playing Archmage Wizard. This is a challenge guide, though. This is not for those that think it's boring. This is a difficult guide to play. So trust me. If you wanna prove you're a real man, real man this guide, right? Or like follow this challenge guide, and you'll find yourself like just being like, oh, how do I do this? And it's good to play those characters that either are self-limiting or you kind of just focus on one thing, because it allows you to see things in in small chunks. Learning how to use crowd control effectively is one of the things that separates you from being like an okay player to being an amazing player. And that's one of the things you're going to see a lot. If you've ever played with like different people, different characters, and you notice that they don't take a lot of damage, they like wade into groups of monsters and take no damage, a large part of that is due to crowd control effects, especially in epic levels. Having anything that's like an area of effect knockdown, a quick momentary stun, things like that, or even temporary abilities that give you a large benefit, like uncanny dodge, things like that. You don't normally pop. You don't normally use. These are the things that, people that wade into enemies and take 0 damage, these are the abilities that they're using, because that's what makes them almost invincible. So when you kind of strip away a lot of the things that make your character more powerful, like this guide here, the idea is that it's played with no walls of fire. You don't use any walls of fire. Why would you use Wall of Fire, man? Because that's an elemental spell. The idea is to use exclusively force damage to see how good is Archmage, Turns out Archmage is pretty good. And with no other spells, only using force spells, so the traditionally lowest damage spells in the game, and not talking about Shirati force damage or something, or like some kind of spammer. I know. If there was something that could make Elminster talk faster, I would do it. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure if there was like something in the DDO store that was like skips Elminster's talking sections, boom. We're talking sales, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure everyone would buy that. I would. I'd totally buy that. In a second. In epic levels, you run Rift all the time. If you could just skip the whole Elminster thing, that when you enter the quest, you're just past Elminster. That would be sick. I would totally buy that. Although there are a lot of things that I would buy if they were in the game. I've already said this repeatedly. If there was a way for me to buy for Wolf Druid, if I could buy the little antlers that they have, but I would, if I could buy the little antlers and the glowing Rudolph nose for the for like Wolf Druid, if that was a cosmetic that you could buy, I would so buy that in a second. Just no questions asked. I'm just screwing with this guy now. He's like, I don't understand how you do so much damage. What do you use? Charisma or intelligence? I'm like, Constitution. Charisma and intelligence don't add to damage. Now, that's only kind of true. Charisma and intelligence do add to damage for Warlock, but they only add to damage in a very minor way. So charisma adds to your damage, assuming that you focus on your pact damage. I don't focus on my pact damage. My pact damage is like totally secondary. I never even think about it because it's kind of useless. If a monster makes their save and they have evasion, they take 0 damage. And I have bad luck. So I just assume all the time that monsters will always make all of their reflex saves as they are like around me. Instead, I just focus on great old one. So instead of focusing on the thing that I know I'm going to screw up, I know for a fact, guaranteed, that if I go and I focus on this thing that can be evaded, all of a sudden, boom, I'm not going to be able to hit them because they're going to evade every single time. But the rest of my damage is unevadable. They can't dodge the evil damage. They can't dodge the light damage. So that's what I focus on this character. Also melee. So I go ahead, I do my little blasts, and then anything that's left, I just walk around and melee it to death. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these guys, they're not bosses. Bosses are very easy for me to show off the actual single targetness of this build. You can't really see it against large packs because most of the monsters die in big things. So yeah, it's interesting that the way it's like I said, that's like my pessimistic view of how I want to play the game. If I just imagine that my enemies are always going to make their evasion saves, then I just don't think about it as part of my damage source, and then all of a sudden, whoa. I told you. Oh, the game is like crashing out now because it's lagging so much. Like it's actually freezing. This is crazy. This is crazy. Nobody can move. We're just completely locked up. Oh, I'm being hit by something though. I'm taking damage. Hopefully I'll be able to get out of this. Byron Sword Scout. I don't understand what the problem is, man. It's Byron Sword Scout. Oh, it's everybody. Sorry if it's sort of slowing down. It's like I wish there was something I could do about this. Here, I know. I'll distract you guys. Let me just do a little dance. Entertainment, entertainment. This is how we entertain when you can't play the game. Yeah, entertainment, entertainment. 'Cause I'm for you guys. Entertainment. That's how we do the dance. I'm just gonna. What else can I do for entertainment? I'll just walk over here. Just walk over here. And then you don't know where I am. You don't know where I am. Strimdom's off camera. Then all of a sudden he's looking directly at the camera. Then he's gone. Oh shit! The excitement, man. Can we move? Yes. No. Maybe. No. I can't move. Oh god. I wanna do something, but I literally can't move. Oh, god. Oh, you know what I can do while the game is lagging out and frozen? I'll show you guys something I have. You guys like dungeons. I know you guys like dungeons, but the question is, do you guys like dragons? Dragons! Oh. This is a dragon that I have. This is a blue dragon, a gargantuan blue dragon. It's a figurine for the Dungeons & Dragons game that I'm going to be running soon. I got one of these. I don't know how old this is. Does it have a date on it? 2007. It's a limited edition, so it's a dragon. Dragon. Get shit-faced? I could. I don't work tomorrow. But I can't do that on the DDO stream for various reasons. I'll do that on my own, though. Dragons. This is Icing Death from the Dritz series, I think. I don't know. It's also a 2007. Dragons. The reason this has a bell on it, there's a bell on this dragon right here. Jingles. The reason you have a bell on this dragon is so you can hear it sneaking up behind you. You know? It's like you put a bell on a cat so you know when it's around in the room. You put a bell on the dragon so it doesn't sneak up on you. Because it's a dragon. Okay. I don't know what else I can do to distract you guys. Yeah, man. We got tons of room for warlocks in Galanda. I can't move, though. Oh. Oh, you have Icing Death, too? That's sick. Yeah, Icing Death. Also, another book that you guys should consider. If you like yourself some Dungeons & Dragons... Oh, God, what I have to lean over here. If you like yourself some Dungeons & Dragons, and you want to play the game, but you're like, man, I like Warforged. I don't want to play Dungeons & Dragons. How do I do that? Whoosh. Eberron campaign setting, 3.5 edition rules, Warforged on the cover with a rune with an arm attachment. In the back, there's like a dude with a bow, and he's like, "Oh, gotta get yourself one of these. Gotta get yourself one of these books." And then it's full of like stuff and tables. I don't think you can still buy these anymore, but if you can get one, then boom, you get that. You can play Eberron. What else do I do? How do I distract you guys from the crippling lag? Sneak up and manage to attach a bell to a dragon? Yeah, exactly. Oh, I do not have any room on the server, unfortunately. I don't have any party room. We're totally full. See, this is the thing. So, the guy that's in my party, Sling Warlock, he's like, "How are you doing so much damage?" The reason he asked me is because of this. So, this is not like me bragging. This is like, I don't know. We have 129 monsters killed. I've killed 101 of them out of all of them. But he's also playing a Warlock. So is Alt 2, and so is Bullerston. Now, Bullerston's level 15, but these other two guys are level 18 Warlocks. In theory, they should be able to compete with the damage that I do, especially considering I'm some like goofy, janky, con to damage melee build. So they should be out-damaging me. But they're not, in any capacity. I am like crushing monsters. Like beer cans on my forehead at a party. Like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know how to distract you guys anymore. What do I do? I know what to do. This is another thing. If you want to make sure you get fit and stay in shape, just like your old friend Strimstream here, when you're in between quests and adventures, just take the time in between every single quest. Back up away from your desk, get down on the floor, and do some push-ups in between every quest. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And now if I do that in between every quest, I'm going to become like crazy ripped and jacked in no time. Oh. See, that's what you gotta do. You see, a situation like this where the game is lagging out and you can't play it. One, my build is very powerful because even in a situation like this, if I had the boss standing in front of me, wailing on me, trying to break every single bone in both of in my body, even my real life body. Oh no, I can't do 20 push-ups in a row. All right, what do we do now? I don't know what else to talk about. I need to... It's slash stuck. I don't need to die today. Yeah, blasts. Yeah. I'm hoping that this will eventually get me free. Yeah, server's completely frozen. Is anybody else on Galanda? Is this happening to other people, or is it just me? Because I don't know if it's anybody else on Galanda. Let me check my friends list. All my friends are offline. All of them. Damn it. What do we do? Team. Need a plan or strategy. Maybe I can tell a story. So, let me tell a story to distract you. Earlier this week, I'm going to be starting a Dungeons & Dragons campaign with some friends. And I went over to a friend's place who had never played it to set up characters. Because they all hadn't played the game before. They'd played, played some video games. Read the books. Read like all them Dritz books, Dragonlance, things like that. But they never actually got a chance to play Dungeons & Dragons. The pen and paper version, of course. Played like Baldur's Gate and things like that. So I went over. We got set up. I set up the whole table, the miniatures, explained how it goes. We went through the quests, went through all the classes. Had a lot of fun. I ended up with the most unique party ever. So on the one hand, we got the one guy who'd played all the editions before, 3.5, 4, and 5th. And he was like, what am I going to play? Human Fighter. Because that's like not generic. I'm running 3.5, by the way. The greatest edition ever written by anybody. Some of you might say that Pathfinder is better. I'm a 3.5 guy. I will always be a 3.5 guy. At heart, you know? I love it so much. I sleep with my book in my bed because it's the best. I'm never getting married because I already have a soulmate, my 3.5 player's handbook. I love that rule set. So that's the one I'm running. But he's playing a human fighter. Now, in my campaign, I have 2 extra races. I have the Warforged. I added them in because Warforged is just cool, man. So you can play as a Warforged. And then I also have an undead race based off of skeletons for story reasons. So out of all the standard playable races, and undead player race, and Warforged player race, the guy chooses human fighter. So when we scroll over to the other guy, now the other guy is my boss. And my boss is a cool guy. But, he doesn't, he's never played any of these games before. And so I go through all the classes, I go through all the races, and he just looks and he goes, I'm going to be an Elven Ranger. And I'm just like face palming right away. I'm like, dude, you could be like a wizard or a sorcerer or like any of these, like a robot or anything. He's like, no. Elven Ranger. And then he pulls out his own figurine that he has, plops Dritz on the table. Because he wants to play Dritz. And I'm like, dude, you're like 29 and you want to play Dritz? I guess. Everyone's allowed to want to play Dritz, so that's fine. And then the last guy is like, oh man. And I'm like, what? What's the problem? He's like, I wanted to play a human fighter, but we can't have 2 human fighters. And I was like, you guys, everyone wants to play human fighter? Now there are some things, I understand why people don't want to play cleric. Because you don't want to play cleric in 3.5. Cleric in 3.5 is every single turn. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get out of this. But Cleric in 3.5 is every single turn. I move, I heal. I move, I heal. Sometimes you move and you cast Blade Barrier, but most of the times you move, you heal. So it's not the one that everybody likes to play, but everyone, fighter man. So it's pretty fun. I'm excited to have the game is starting up this Saturday. I'm excited. If you guys listen to the DDO cast, there's going to be one coming up soon that I was invited to be on that I unfortunately can't make it because I'm doing my Dungeons & Dragons thing and I work too much. I tried to move my schedule around so I could be on it, but I just can't, unfortunately, get that to happen. I wish I could, but I cannot. But someday I will be on that show. I just got to free up my weekends. Well, yeah, exactly. Pathfinder in 3.5 is just mathematics. Well, and there's a lot more options for roleplay, but... Man, why can't I move? What do you guys think I should do? You think I should, like, disconnect from the server and try to do something else? Like, maybe log into a different character or something? Or should I just wait this out? Because I want to finish this quest series. But this character's... Oh, I tumbled! I moved! I moved again! I can tumble away. Go! Tumble, dwarf! Tumble! I don't want to end up getting into, like, a room full of shadows or Shadow Kai, though. That could end up being very poor or going, like, completely against my favor. Oh, no. Although I'm sure some of you are like, what is this? Lag simulator? Like 2016? Oh, no. This is not what I want to happen. Oh, I'm over here now. Good. Just gotta get around this corner. Oh, I'm moving a little bit. The issue with relogging here is that if I log out, my character might be just frozen in this instance, and I don't know what I can do about it. Oh, I'm almost here. Oh, the door's open. Okay, I gotta get to the door. I can't tell if anything's happening. I get excited. it's a bad idea to relog. This is some lag, though. Oh, I'm not even in the center of the screen. That was weird. Oh, what am I looking at? Wall? Yeah, I do. If you are like, man, this Strimtom guy, he talks real fast, and most of it's about gibberish. Where can you find Strimtom? Right here, my friend. Twitch.tv/Strimtom. It's the best place you can find all the Strim-related action. Sometimes even Tom-related action, but usually we're going to keep it down to the Strim. Right down to the wire. I stream at a very irregular rate. I try to stream as often as I can, but unfortunately, due to like my very heavy work commitment, I can't stream all the time. If I could play video games all day for you guys for your entertainment, then I'd need more of you to watch me, which is just not going to happen if I play Dungeons & Dragons online, unfortunately. But, yeah. Like I said, I stream irregularly, but when I do, oh baby. I wanted to stream a lot in the past. Whoa! Hey, somebody followed my personal stream. Hey, look at that. Thank you. Thank you for the follow, you guys. I appreciate that. I don't it only shows up for my stream. If I can... Oh, man. Thank you. Paul Rudd approves. 100%, so... Appreciate that. You know, I do what I can. I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty close, so... If you want to get a good idea of, you know, you want to see more Dungeons & Dragons content. I don't only stream Dungeons & Dragons, though. Sometimes I will also stream Asheron's Call 2, a very old Turbine game. One of my favorite games of all time. It goes along with Dungeons & Dragons Online here. Oh, I want to get over here so bad. Oh, I almost got around this corner. Oh, there's a dead shadow over there. But I also stream other games as well. Not too many other freak ones, but I do stream some Asheron's Call 2 sometimes. And sometimes I'll get really, 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 really drunk and then turn on my live stream, which usually ends poorly. Or very well, I can't tell. Alright. I don't know if this is just the instance, though. Is anybody on Galanda? Because if anybody's on Galanda, I might try to, like, escape from the instance. You know. Like, just try to get off the island. Captain, you know. What did we do? Oh, I killed something! Urgh, give me that kill. Maybe I can make it to the boss and get out of here. I'm gonna leave auto run on and point it this way. So maybe auto run will, like, get me around these corners here. That'd be pretty sick. I don't know if that's actually gonna work, though. Oh. You had no lag? Okay, good to know. There's a place that I should probably be logging this lag action, but I'm really lazy. In fact, I don't even need to log it, because I can live log it, because I can link to this later. Oh, I'm making it into the room, though. I think we get butchered by the Shadar guy that's come up here, so I'm going to try to use Shining Through to get some health back. I'm just going to keep clicking this as often as I can, because it's not actually casting, but at some point it might cast. See, when you have situations like this where the game kind of like lags and crashes itself to death, you have to kind of learn how to play around it, you know? Much like when you're playing a game of Hearthstone and you got to play around certain cards, this situation you got to play around certain levels of lag. So by making sure I'm auto-running in a certain direction, I have an aura that's constantly healing me and dealing damage to my enemies, and I'm mashing my health regeneration button. At some point, this might actually go through and give me the much-needed health. You got to plan for every situation. Sometimes these are situations you don't want to plan for. I don't want to plan for when the server crashes out and lag, but if I have a plan for it, I won't have to worry when it happens. Like, if I could just get to the boss, I could just stand next to him and he'll die. I'm almost up the staircase. I don't know if I'm actually up the staircase, but I'm almost there anyway. Who knows? It looks like I'm pretty close. I might actually be dead, though, so we're going to find out. Oh, man. There was a shadow at my feet. I don't know where it went, though. Oh, I'm here. I'm at the top of the staircase. They're working on it. The thing is, they are working on it, and truth say, other than situations like this, which is obviously significantly worse than it's ever been, like, this is the worst lag ever in the game's history. Oh, I actually got my Shining Through to go through. That's what I'm talking about. 500. I'm at over 1,000 life right now. In general, the lag has been better. This is only the second time it's completely done this to me. But I'm almost at the top here. If I can get through into the boss's room, that's really all I have to do, is just get into the boss's room. Oh! 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 We're back! Oh, shit! Oh! Oh! Yeah! We did it, team! Yeah! We did it, Reddit. I'm in. I got it. I got him. I got him. Let's get him, boys. Get him, boys. Leg's gone. Let's get him, boys. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. Justice. I will annihilate this guy. He's like, oh, the lag did not stop you? How did you even get here? And I'm like, oh, well, you're a shade from a dimension of shadow, right? It's a shame I do exclusively light damage. He's not going to like my light damage. He's really not. No lag moment? No, you mean no lag ever. It's gone. It's gone. Boom, look at this. Look at all this extra damage he's taken. He's like, oh, I'm going to resist. I will resist your acid damage. Except take extra damage from light. My man. He's going down. And then even then he's like, oh, well, I'll just attack you with a giant purple worm or whatever. Worm tears out of the ground. Look at that face. Only a mother could love that face. But only a dwarf can kill it with my bare hands that are holding an axe that are slicing at this night-crawling guy. I do not believe in surrender. I only believe in failure and losing. Well, they had on the... They had the 10th anniversary stream, and they had a lot of people come on that stream. There's actually a fairly large team that works in the game. And also the team tends to fluctuate, because people that work on DDO, from essentially what I gathered and what a lot of people talked about, people that worked on DDO in the past continue to work on DDO in the future. Like, they'll go work on another game, and then they'll come back, because designing dungeons in DDO is just one of the coolest things to work on. If you're wondering about the lag, from what I've heard... the reason why update 30 or update 31 has taken so long to come out is because they essentially like dumped almost 100% of their staff onto the lag issue trying to get it fixed. Because that's the most important thing. Thanks for coming, Jamalar. Yeah, we're free. I'm the free man. Ah, this is so good. I'm so happy. Yeah. Yeah, lag free. Yeah. See, like I said, sure, it did cut into almost half an hour of the entire stream, but, lag free.
I came here looking for another prize to add to my collection. Yet,
I understand that. I'm not going to defend that one. There's some people who are like, oh, there's no lag and blah blah blah. But when the lag gets really bad, it is frustrating. It's just frustrating, and it's sad because it's the one thing you want to do. Christmas lights? No, they're there. They've moved. So before they were Christmas lights, now they're spring lights, because spring has come. So they're spring lights, and soon they will actually be. I have to put this cable here. Soon they will actually be summer lights. You can't stop with the Christmas lights, man. You can't give up. Alright, let's see. Wayloon, what are we on? 4 or 5? And this is Thrill of the Hunt. The Thrill of the Hunt. I like the Christmas lights, man. They make me feel happy and warm on the inside. You know what's nice? Waking up in the morning instead of tossing on, your light, especially when it's dark and stormy and rainy outside. Boom, popping on those Christmas lights makes you feel good on the inside and the outside. Everywhere, really. It's colored light. It's like coffee. It's universally loved. Who doesn't like colored light? Could you imagine if the sun changed colors all the time? That'd be so cool. It would also probably destroy nature, and traffic would be horrible trying to drive places. I've done... I don't know if maybe it's a Sarlona thing, but I've done a lot of raids since the last patches. Every single raid I've done has had no lag in it over the past, month or so. And that's not me just being like, wow, no, every single raid I've done over the past month has had no lag in it whatsoever. So maybe you're just getting bad experiences, and I'm sorry to hear that if that's what's happening. Like it does suck when, like I said, when that kind of thing locked up. That does just kind of suck, but you know, sometimes it's not all bad, you know, man. Sometimes playing that damn their video game, and you just get to do some of the cool raids and the cool content. I mean, it's one of my favorite quests is absolutely the Temple of Deathworm raid, which I've done since like in the past month. And again, I love Temple of Deathworm. That quest is so cool. Yeah, but it's going to keep improving. If you've had the opportunity to play Lord of the Rings Online since their server move, it was very similar right at the beginning. Like the servers got butchered, dude. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Get out. But the servers got like butchered by the transfer. But through patience and hard work, 5 DDO specific devs. Yeah. Who DDO things. Yeah, exactly. But man, you gotta just have, not so much have blind faith, but appropriately leveled faith. Because as I said, if you've played Lord of the Rings Online, you know that the servers are way better than when they did their transition. They had similar issues, and that will come to DDO. You just gotta have faith. Another game, by the way, if you haven't had the chance to play, I wouldn't recommend playing Lord of the Rings Online in the sense that like it's like super fun all the time, because if you've played any MMO, you're gonna get the Lord of the Rings Online experience. It's just like a generic go to town, get quests, go to a place, do all those quests, go back to town, hand them in, get a new set of quests, go to a new place. It is that type of game for sure. Oh man, but that game has the Warden, which is probably the coolest character class I've ever seen in any MMO ever. I can't open doors, it's so stupid. Ah, why am I bleeding? But if you haven't got a chance to play the Warden, I highly recommend the Warden. It's just the coolest class. It's Street Fighter in an MMO. And I can totally understand that. Like I said, if it's very similar to games like World of Warcraft, Star Wars, things like that. But the Warden is the coolest character class in any MMO ever. Like it's just the best. It's the highest skill cap I've ever seen in any game. People will be like, "Oh, I played World of Warcraft and like Rogue has a really high skill cap because you have to do whatever." No. You gotta play Warden. Warden is a class where the interrupt like all the spell casts, things like that. Hey, no problem. Thanks for coming, Sling. But the Warden, oh man, like every class gets an interrupt to interrupt. I never got a chance to play FF4 or FF11. I did play Final Fantasy 14 though. Fun game. Classes aren't really unique, which kind of sucks. In fact, they're not even unique with each other, because when you boil it down, the only one that's unique in that game is Monk. The others are just rehashes of every other class, which is really disappointing. But, oh, for DDO? Yes, in DDO, the player base is large enough. Servers are frequently full. Like, people are playing DDO. Actually, I was playing some Elder Scrolls Online recently. I was talking to some of the people, and a lot of the guys were like, "Yeah, I've been playing Elder Scrolls, and I did everything I really wanted to do, and I wanted to try another MMO." And they're all like, "Yeah, I've heard about this DDO." And apparently, a lot of people that played that game are starting to move on to DDO, and then which is kind of neat. Which is something I never would have expected. But it's kind of cool. But yeah, I love the Warden, man. I know, I've heard. They don't just sit there and lag. But yeah, there's a ton of new players right now. And it's cool. I'm glad to see new people getting to experience this. Because one, if you never played Dungeons & Dragons, playing DDO is one of the best ways to get into Dungeons & Dragons. I didn't pick up the key. Did one of you guys? Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so it's been you know, I've been having a lot of fun with the game the way it's going right now, and a lot of the changes recently have been really good. Like I said, like the Warlock. A lot of people really like the Legendary update. And DDO has going for it just that, like I said, it's the most Dungeons and Dragons-esque game out there. I'm not going to say games like a game like Neverwinter or something is bad. I don't think it is strictly a bad game, but it's not as Dungeons and Dragons-like as some other games. I don't think I can stop it. Goodbye, captive. Oh, I can't do anything because my wisdom is minus 26. Oh yeah, I totally understand. Anyone that quit because of lag, I completely understand. I'm not going to fault a single person for doing that. Like, it is frustrating. But this is my favorite game, so I just can't quit. I don't care. I'm just going to sit there and wait for like 30 minutes to play the game. Cool. Yeah. We're going to do Mirror in the Dark. Mirror in the Dark is one of my favorite quests here. My playtime has decreased on this game, not because of the lag, but largely because of the fact that I can't play all the time. I want to play all the time, but I can't. Apparently I have to like work and pay my bills. Oh, gotta kill night hags. Oh, night hags, going down. Oh god. Oh man. They're the hags of the night. Get 'em. Get 'em, boys. I'm gonna update my quest thing. They're looking for more. 5 of 5, update, and it's gonna go Mirror in the Dark. Through a Mirror Darkly. That's the one. This is one of my favorite quests in the game. This one's so cool. Mirror gives you headaches? Dude! Okay, did you ever play a game in 1994 called Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past? In that game, did people complain about the fact that there's like a mirror and two worlds, like a light world and a dark world? Nah, they didn't complain about that. They were like, revolutionary, amazing gameplay, 10 out of 10. Well, guess what? That's an option in this game. It's an option in this game. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, Radiant Great Axe of Radiance. Dang, that'd be a lot of damage. And that's pretty good. Constitution, healing, low repair, lower strength. All those are bad. Belt to natural armor and spell resistance, bad. Sword Captain, ooh, give me these bracers. Ooh, bad. Legendary victory, thank you. I even want to spend money on DDO points, but discouragement of lag. Like I said, I totally get it, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna fault anybody for like withholding because they want the game to be better. Because I want the game to be better. Oh, it actually gives you a headache. I didn't know you meant it like gives you a, like physically gives you a headache. I thought you meant that like the quest is confusing. Now I understand. Like I said, man, they're working on the lag as fast as they can. Hopefully it'll be fixed sooner rather than later, but I can tell you one thing, I'm no programmer. You know, I don't got them their tip-tap type skills. So I don't know how long it would take, but hopefully they'll fix it sometime soon. But yeah, it's also good to take breaks from like the things that you love so much. Warlock is fantastic for solo play. You know, Warlock is great for solo play. It's great for group play. It's also great for AFK play because I don't have to play the game right now, and the monsters that are behind me and all around me are going to be dying. That monster, I didn't even see it. It was dark. I couldn't even see it. The one that was just here, this one, it was invisible. I didn't spot it, but boom, dead, off camera, like no, boom, no scope. So I no scoped that guy. Yeah, Warlock's pretty good for solo play. I wouldn't say it's exclusively overpowered, because it's great in heroic levels, but I wouldn't say it's overpowered. I mean, it's good, but overpowered's one step too far. Talk to this guy. He gives me my mirror, so give me my mirror. Put this mirror here so I can click it. Let me do it. I am using. I I'm just using the aura, so the aura goes automatically, and then I use the little blasts. Most of my damage comes from the blasts and also my melee attacks. My melee is important, so... Buy or premium unlock? It is a premium unlock. So if you would like to play as a warlock, you either have to be subscribed to the game, which is what I am right now, or you can buy it for, I believe, $12.95 turbine points. And it is super fun. The nice thing about Warlock is you can kind of combine it with almost any other class in the game and make something effective. I've heard interesting things about Druid Warlock, like wolf, like animal form Warlock. I don't know if it's good, but I've heard things about it.
A barrier of magical shadows blocks the doorway.
Like, I don't know if I would play an animal form Warlock, but you could play an animal form Warlock, like a bear lock or a wolf lock. Oh, or fail to knock the lock. Oh, 1 and 2. And 3! What are the odds of 1 and then 2 and then 3? Oh my god. Oh, and I fail on a 16. Okay, I don't think I'm going to open this door. Nope, never mind, I rolled a 19. Alright, I'm out. I'm out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody. Am I goo or fey? I'm not goo. Welcome, we are inside Through a Mirror Darkly. I am Great Old One. Oh, goo! Great Old One. I get it. I am goo. I am Great Old One. I like Great Old One so far for this character just because it gives me knock. I was going to be Fey, but I figured I haven't actually played a Great Old One Warlock. I've played the other ones with the Fire and the Fey. I wanted to give it a shot, see how good it is. Or bad. I wanted it to chest. Rawr. Oh, it's not actually a chest! Oh, it's a trick! Oh no! Oh no, it's a mimic. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out. You no good, you. I don't get any treasure either? Man. Alright, let's go back. Let's get out of here. But, oh, they're 35% off. That's even better. Oopsie. I just didn't mean to move. I kind of want to buy one of those stat tomes, get like the +6 to all your stats, but I just don't have enough turbine points right now. I'm trying to, play, get the points by unlocking them. Every time you get favor, you unlock more points, right? So I gotta make sure I keep my haste on. I keep forgetting. I'm so used to just having the automatic movement speed. I guess it's a good way to keep it up. Yeah, the Fire Warlock's pretty good. The fact that it gives you, what? Still a guy here? Get out. I like the Fire Warlock because it gives you the Hurl Through Hell, which not only looks really cool, but it is crazy strong. Like, it's just, Hurl Through Hell is awesome. Kills pretty much any target. Doesn't matter if it's alive or dead or whatever, because you just essentially throw it into hell. It's a cool concept.
This door has been blocked off. You will have to find another way.
Yeah, I kind of want to save up for something like that, but, man, it's expensive. It's a lot of points. Right now, this character's the ×4 because they had a sale last year at the end of the year, which gave, I believe it was, what, like, how do I get through here? Ooh. I stare through the mirror. I'm back here. Beautiful. I think aura bursts are good damage. Because they are good damage, man. The burst damage is really useful. If you're playing like epic elite, things like that, depending on how high your actual damage is, you're actually capable of like bursting down monsters. You can probably hit for good 4,000 damage consistently. If a monster has 10,000 health, 2 bursts, it almost kills an entire pack. Alright, so when you get into the start, go right. There's like a little house you can climb over. Climb over the house, and there should be a gate with an open door. And then when you go through that door, turn left, and there's like a little wall you walk on, and then you just follow that little wall and it brings you into the house. Apparently I can't see this door because my search is not high enough. And I can't go through here. Can you just not go through here? Wow, you just can't get through here, so I have to go back the other way. Wow, that's kind of disappointing. But that's one of the reasons why people can consider that the bursts are good damage, because having consistent burst damage is pretty good. Well, Schwallen62. You're talking to a guy who's a little bit biased. I think this game is worth it to give it a try at the very least. If you've played other MMOs in your time playing the video games, the computer games, a lot of them can tend to be very generic. That's why there's like almost an MMO formula, like a cookie cutter formula. You know, you've got town, you do quests, you go to an area, you do those quests, you come back to town, you hand in the quests, you get quests to go to a new area, and you go back, and etc. And you kind of repeat ad infinitum until you're max level, and then you do raids. DDO is not quite like that. Every single quest you do is a separate adventure. So right now, I'm exploring an old mansion, and I'm using a mirror to travel between a light world and a shadow world, which is, I think, very cool. Welcome, we're inside the quest. And I personally think that's really cool. So some doors you can't get through unless you're in the right version of the world. Sometimes they're doors, sometimes they're blocked by walls, or like this blocked off door, I might not be able to get to it unless I'm in the right proper world. I run in, kill the monsters, and it's a lot of fun. There's also a lot of options for character customization. So if you want to play a character a certain way, you know, you're really keen on like, oh, I want to play like a sneaky guy with like a bow who can set up traps and stuff. You can set traps in this game and then lure enemies into them using trap making, which is really cool. It's not something you get in a lot of different games, actually setting traps. Although a game where you can set traps is Lord of the Rings Online. I will keep that in mind. You can do that with the Hunter, although the Hunter traps are like not that good. You can do it. But yeah, I recommend just giving it a shot. Just make a guy. It's a free-to-play game, right? So if it's worth it to try out a free game, then absolutely. Oh, where am I? Why did I just get blur cast on me? Because I didn't cast blur. That's weird. That is strange. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a fun game. It's just different than all the other games that are on the market. So if you're just looking for something different and you've never gotten a chance to play it, you'll really like it. Or you might really like it. If you played games like Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter Nights, not Neverwinter, Neverwinter Nights back in the 90s, you'll like it. They're not that great, but it's... Remember, if you're a new player and you want to play the game, you're likely going to be playing on normal difficulty. And in normal difficulty, those traps are great. And they can be very helpful. You have to pay for half-orc. Half-orc is not a free race. Although, fortunately, it's also not a very great race. I mean, it gives you strength, which is awesome. But, I mean, humans get that feat. I mean, how can you say no to that feat, right? And those extra skills? Extra skills. But Barbarian is absolutely free. So, Dwarf, Dwarven Barbarian, Human Barbarian. Heck, you want to go with a Halfling Barbarian? Do it up. Bring out that Halfling Barbarian. I'm a big fan of Halflings myself. Dragon Marks are really cool as well if you do happen to play as a Halfling Barbarian. Dragon Mark is a special type of thing specific to Eberron. The idea is that there are certain houses in the world that essentially have these dragon marks, these like symbols of prestige and power. And the dragon marks give people, regular people, extreme extraordinary abilities. Now sometimes, well, I guess extreme extraordinary. Not all the abilities are extraordinary. An example of that is like, the halflings, they get extreme healing. You can't kill people with your extreme healing. You can't take over the world with your extreme healing. But it's healing nonetheless. It's a powerful ability. So the individual houses, if you were born with a dragon mark, then you can become a part of that individual house. And as a result, an extra feat you can take in this game is based on your character race. You can essentially become associated with a house or a lineage or a heritage. And you get crazy powers based on it. So like if you're a human, there's multiple different dragon marks that you could take. If you're a halfling, you can get like the like I said, the mark of Jurasco, the mark of healing. And then it allows you to heal yourself even though you're playing a non-healing character, things like that. Half-elf, they get their own dragon mark, the dragon mark of storms, Lyrandir. Yeah, the single target blasts, unfortunately, are just significantly less. It's just less damage because you just don't get the burst damage, which is very important. Munchkin games coming soon? Oh, I have not heard of the Munchkin games. Do tell. Ilren Cleric, is there some place where people could find out more information about these previously mentioned Munchkin games? because that would be an interesting thing to see. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, the strength isn't too much in the long game, but half-orcs do have some cool abilities. One of my favorite ones is the fact that they can use their Intimidate to open locks. They get an ability where if you have the Dragon Mark of Finding, which is the half-orc Dragon Mark, you can go ahead and you can open locks by just punching them, because you're able to intimidate the lock open, which I thought was super cool. Just a great flavor tool. So as a barbarian, oh, is that chest lock? No problem. Punch the lock open. Which, if you ever played a game like Neverwinter Nights, that's all I did. Every time you get to a chest, oh, well, the chest is locked. Okay, well, if the chest is locked, I'm going to smash the chest open, or see if I can smash the lock. Those are like my favorite options to do in that game. Because I never played one, so. Thanks for the link, man. Yeah, it's cool. How do you get over the garbage charisma? You play Barbarian. And you don't care about charisma. Because Barbarian gets free Intimidate out of, so is Cone Shape. Cone Shape is not more powerful than Single Target, because it attacks at the same speed. Like, it's good. Cone Shape is really good. I wouldn't say it's more powerful than Single Target. Single Target gets 130% spell power scaling. I think it might be better than Chain, though. Anyway, go down here, and all of a sudden, oh no! Shadow Beholder! Gygax! Gygax! The all-seeing darkness. I love the Plane of Shadows, Shadow Beholders. Never get rid of them. But yeah, as a Barbarian, you can max out Intimidate. You can get Intimidate items, so your Intimidate's even higher. It's really easy to get Intimidate item. For example, I have an item right here, which is not mousing over. Yeah, Daunting Hell of Intimidate 5, so it gives me 21 Intimidate at level 16. So if I ever need to Intimidate something, I just pop it on, Intimidate the boss, and then run like hell. Ooh, Trapsmith's Crossbow. Repeating Heavy Crossbow, Poison 5, on critical hit, D4 Strength, Dexterity, or Con damage, Double Shot, and Keen. But it has no plus on it, it's plus 0. That is a trash tier item. Dang, that sounded so cool! Oh. It was almost cool, guys, almost cool. And also, very important, when you play as like a barbarian, anything like that, or especially a half-orc barbarian, and you have this dumpster charisma, your charisma's probably going to start as a 6. Well, you just got to roleplay, man. So with your charisma, just grunt a lot. Just be like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." So when your allies like ask you a question like, hey man, what am I supposed to do? That's when you say, "Rrr, rrr, me go. Rrr." And you're crude and you're crass. Is my build a 28 or a 32 point? Zinjin, I'm going to shock you. I'm going to blow your mind. My build is a 36 point. I've reincarnated, my friend. I'm on several lives through. I got 43 Constitution right here, and I got a 36 point build. 36 point build? It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points, my friend. I'm coming, buddy. Orlace the Arcane Assassin. Yeah. Gonna heal my friend. Bam. Goodbye, enemy. Yeah, so my build is a legend. It's legendary. I'm not a completionist. I'm actually working for a completionist on this. I've never had the opportunity to become a completionist because I'm an altaholic. But for the first time in my life, I'm trying to do it. I'm on 36 next life, pretty excited. Yeah, the 36 is really nice. What it means is you can max out 2 stats. So as an example, you can max out something like your strength and your constitution, say if you're playing a barbarian. And after maxing out both your strength and your constitution, you know. Oh, if you're not sure how to get in here, Alt-2, in your inventory, you should have a mirror that you can look at, which will then take you through a portal. It'll like take you to a dark world, and you can come through to where we are. Oh, nice! Congratulations, man. Blade Forge is pretty good. if you like Warforged, you'll love Bladeforged. Because Bladeforged are like Warforged, but better in every single way. 100 billion% power creep. And now I'm going to use the rest shrine to get my health back. Yeah. This build's unfortunately not a completionist, though. I'm working on it. My last few lives were not the best. It'll probably go on sale soon. But my last few lives were unfortunately not the best. Because I like testing out different things in the game. I like really pushing the boundaries. So I try to play characters with stats that a lot of people don't generally use. Because everyone knows that, like, the Swashbuckler Bard is really good. Everyone plays it. But what about, you know, Spellsinger Bard? Is that good? What about Warchanter Bard? Is that really good? You know? Everybody knows that Wolf Druid's great. Everyone knows that Caster Druid's amazing. But what about Bear Druid? You know? So I played myself a Bear Druid. It was terrible. Don't play a Bear Druid. I played myself the Henshin Mystic Monk, the monk with the spell casting and the mysticism, and it's garbage. Don't play that. But now I know that those things are garbage, and I can tell you why. That's usually what I play. I was going to play more character builds like that, but I decided I'm going to take a little bit of a break here and play Warlock, so that way I don't have to, like, try hard all the time. I can just have a couple lives where I just log into the game, pick a quest, and just go have fun. Because my character doesn't really take any damage whatsoever. And I don't need to care what type of monster I'm fighting. This boss fight's very cool. Because he's a shadow, he moves in between the regular world and the shadow world. And so you have to pop through to get it. Oh. I'm anti-Warforged in most cases. 12 run 2 pally Bladeforged bow user. Really enjoyed it with weapon attachment and whatnot. That does sound pretty cool. So I'm going to talk to this guy. Good job, everybody. Yeah, there's a door right here. Ooh, and a remnant. What time is it? I still have half an hour, eh? What am I going to do for half an hour? I have to figure another couple quests in here. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Warforged. I like to play them whenever I can. The problem is sometimes it's really hard to just play a Warforged, especially when this character build is required to not be Warforged because I have to be a dwarf. Let's see if we're going to do anything else. What are the quests are there? What quest can I do that's level 16? It's nice, something that's nice and short, and easy. Because I don't have time to do all these quests today. I'm not sure. That makes sense. Hopefully, if they can make the animal weapons work a bit better, that could actually be pretty fun. Ooh, the Morning Star, a shuriken. Shadow Sight. Shade's Hood. I'll just take this. How much favor? On this character, I have 2,772. And that's just from leveling up. I only do quests to level up. I don't do them for favor. So I think... which quest do I want to do? Druids, couple druids deep? I want to do Acute Delirium. And Artificer Warforged? I'm a big fan of Artificer Warforged too. 14 Bladeforged, 6 Ranger Bow user is pretty good. I heard about that. There's max favor. I could Google, but I figure you would ask here. It's 5,500 and something, I think. To get that much favor, it's a lot of effort. The highest reward is 5,000, but I believe, or it's just above 5,000 is like the max. To get all that favor, it's not enough to just like do all the quests. You also have to do the challenges, talking about the Caneth challenges, the Evening Star challenges, things like that. And and you have to get good ratings on those. That's also including like the quests, the raids, all that stuff. So getting all the favor is quite an undertaking if you try to do it. The only reason to go above 5k is just to say you did it. To take that screenshot and then put it as your background. Or to like make a GIF and then post on the forums or something. It's like feels so satisfying as you scroll through all the quests and they all say done on Elite. Yeah, you gotta 6-star all the challenges. Yeah, you probably don't need the challenges. I've never done the challenges. I'm going to be completely honest here. That's one of the areas I've never done in the game. What I'm going to be doing is a stream at some point later. I will probably stream my entire foray into the challenges as like a new player. So, well, as like a new 2 challenges. I've never done them. I kind of want to see how fun they are. I think it'd be cool like to have like a leaderboard, something to compete in, competitive PvE. Have a good night, RD2 play. Oh, Alt2's leaving. I'm all alone, man. I'm all alone. I'm all alone. What is a good world to play on? The people in chat are going to tell you different things. Most of them are going to be wrong, though. And this is really important, you know. Is their name Strimtom, Stramtam, or Strimjim? No, they don't have any of those names. But I know a guy that has at least one of those names, right here. The server that I recommend you play on is this server right here, where my finger is. Jolanda. Jolanda is one of the best servers out there. On Jolanda, you have such great players as myself and many other super friendly people. On top of that, there's a lot of really cool and friendly guilds, couple, you know, old timers, new players, things like that. And true story, even better than that, I've seen bear druids on this server. That's right, bear druids. Not just me, other people. But you say, Strimtom, why does it matter if you see a bear druid? Does that even matter? It does. Because people on Jolanda, they don't care about your standards of good builds. They don't care about like, oh, I gotta do like the best stats. They play for fun. They play to enjoy the game. You know, they come home from their day of work, and they, you know, their 16-hour day of work. They get home, they spend time with their kids and their, you know, their wife or husband, and then after everybody goes to bed, they just go on to Galanda. They log into their, you know, monk rogue, their monk rogue sorcerer who dual wields light picks, and they just start playing the game. They don't care what anybody else thinks, and they just have fun with it, you know? And that's what Galanda's all about. It's about having fun with the game. Let me see. Let's go to the Evening Star Cavern. It's Jolanda, I know. Don't worry, Technical 13. I've played this game for like at least 30 minutes, probably like 40 minutes. I know how to pronounce Jolanda. I've been playing for a long time. So I do recommend Jolanda. Like I said, other people will talk about other servers. I mean, I'd say like, oh, there's other nice people on there, but honestly, I've never played on those servers because why would I play on any other server? I'm already playing on Jolanda. It's just the greatest server, you know? And that's why I said I don't have to talk down about any other server, right? Other servers, I'm sure they have some good quality things, but Jolanda, there's just no second guessing. You don't have to ask any questions. You don't have to think, oh my god, am I going to pick the right server? You did. You already picked the right server because you're playing on Jolanda. Now, I probably shouldn't recommend you play on Jolanda, because if I keep telling everyone to play on the server, all of a sudden the server's going to be full, and then when I log in to play on the weekend, I can't play, and that's not something I want, but... Give me quests, people. Give me quests. I'm going to do a couple of these quests. I'll go at once. Wayfinder's low population if you want solo peaceful play. Kyber is somewhat elitist if you want to run with that higher level player. It's true. I wouldn't say it's true that it's elitist, but they do have a lot of really good players on Kyber. That's for sure. A lot of good big raiding guilds, things like that. If you're into the end game, you know, the raiding scene. It's a good place to start. Is on Kyber. Oh, where am I going? I'm flying around this town. I gotta go to the hospital. Man, there's so many ants in this room. I'm gonna get some ant traps to kill all these guys. At the Home Depot. But yeah. In fact, if you play on Jalanda and you message Stramtam, you say, "Hey Stramtam, I'd like to start playing on Jalanda, but I don't know a lot of people, and I don't have a guild or anything. I'm just starting the game." You send me, your friend Stramtam, Strimstream, Streamy Jim. You send me a message, and all of a sudden, I will invite you to my guild so you can become part of something, get a good footing on the server. The guild that I'm in, Pariahs, we have, it might sound like we're social outcasts, and we are. We really are. But, we got all the guild buffs to support you, and if you're ever like, "Oh, I need help with a quest," we'll come do whatever. So that way you can get a footing on your guild, or on the server, and be able to get some support while you level up and play the game. Primarily, a year ago, by any time they logged in. Yeah. It really depends, though. You got to make sure you're staying in like the big guilds. Like the big guilds, they have people on all the time. I have one of my characters in one of the other big guilds in the server, and every single time you log in, there's always people on it. Almost every time of the day. There are of course sometimes that people aren't on. A good example is like between like 3 and 4 a.m. But most of the times you're gonna see people on all the time. If you're one of those night owls, people that play at a weird and strange time of night, Jalanda is also a great place for you. Jalanda, there's some night owls out here. No, night owls that play with me. So now, when you're watching me play the game, what you're gonna notice is I'm kind of just running around, not really paying attention to the story. I've done these quests before. I've done them a lot. That's what allows me to just kind of talk over while I'm playing the game without really thinking about it, looking at it, even paying attention to the screen. In fact, I could probably do some of this stuff with my eyes closed because the character is like, this is the AFK build. So I can just walk up here, AFK. I just walk up, I just start AFKing, and I'm not actually doing anything or playing the game. But the monster's health around me is going to start going down. But this game, if you haven't played before, has a lot to offer when it comes to an MMO. It gives you that option for story that most other games don't give you. In not the sense that there's like this super compelling, ultra-rich narrative that goes over top of the entire game, but more so that every story, or every little quest you do, has its own story. And it feels special. You have this person narrating it to you, and they're telling you like, oh, and like, it's really cool. Although I remember the first time I played it, you do some of the first quests, and you can see what's in front of you, but you have a guy narrating the quest to you. Like, you walk in and there's the sense of dust in the air and whatever. And it gives you all the senses that you can't fully satisfy. Like a plague victim bursts through the door. He seems in advanced state of the infection. It's almost like you have an actual dungeon master playing with you. And that's pretty cool. I can Zerg extremely easily. I just am not right now because I'm tired. I'm so tired, guys. I'm sleepy. That's what happens when you're up for so many hours like I am. Oh, I should be playing the game instead of looking at the other screen, but I'm looking at the other screen. I also like that this guy's name is Michael Jarvin. I don't know if there's a reason for him to be called Michael Jarvin, but he is called Michael Jarvin, so I'm just gonna deal. But yeah, this character is amazing at super zerging. Because I don't really take any damage, I can very easily lock down entire groups with Evard's black tentacles. Give me that portal. Then also my constant AoE damage and ability to self-heal means I can zerg extremely effectively. The biggest thing about zerging is damage, or sorry, the biggest thing about damage, but the one that follows immediately after that is crowd control. Oh yeah, man. Some quests I hyper zerg. Especially if I'm just trying to level up, especially in epics, I am a zerging machine. There's some parties where I'll just type in chat just AFK. I'll do the whole quest. Just join in AFK if you can't keep up, because I will not wait. Not all the time, of course. There are other times where I'm just feeling patient and slow, and I'm I want to lead some people through the quest that maybe I've never done it before. Man, that quest was not worth a lot of experience points. No, stop it. Ah, die, Wisp. I don't even know what this is. Come back here. Let me stab you. Yeah, get stabbed. But yeah, Zerg and Lords of Dust, man. Ooh. Now we throw it on our dimension door. Boom, takes me to the beginning of the quest. Boom, click the door. I don't want to do that quest. But yeah. So it's like I said, there's a lot to do in this game. And it's not quite this game where you can kind of choose to do whatever you want, like with the kind of like expansiveness of some other MMOs. But you can play the kind of character that you want. I think that's really cool. Although it definitely is harder to be, I think if TRs and ETRs, you are ready to zerg anything. Yeah, exactly. Once you got the stats, you got the gear, and if you know all the quests, it's also very important. If I know where every single trap is in the entire game off by memory, I don't get hit by traps that often. Now, I happen to know where every single trap is in the game by memory, because I'm a total loser and all I do is play this video game. But that is one way to become really good. If you want to become like an amazing DDO player, also another way to become a great DDO player, just be hypercritical of everything that you do. All the time I think to myself, could I have done that situation better? Could I have like CC'd this room? Should I have thrown down my Evards earlier or later? Did I place it in the right area? You know? Like, for example, one of the things I almost never do is I almost never target AoE spells. I never target AoE spells. And there's two huge reasons why I never target AoE spells. The first reason is if you target an AoE spell, and then all of a sudden this monster, I go to cast the spell, and the monster moves behind me, I may not actually hit the monster with the AoE spell, it'll go in the wrong direction, or it'll say, oh, target is behind you or you're not facing, and it gets rid of the spell. And second, if I have monsters that are just spread apart enough that I can hit them all with a fireball if I land it right in the middle, if I target one of them, I'm not going to hit all of them. So I always use the mouse look mode, and I always target areas. Ow! Traps! Ah, shucks, it's a bear trap. As I'm talking about how I know where they all are. Oh yeah, exactly. Reading the wiki is also very important. If you're ever like, man, I wonder if a character can do this, do it. Oh god, the trap again. Oh, the bear traps. Help. Bear traps. Stupid bear traps. I'm just trying to kill all these wisps. I'm stunned. Ah! Yeah, I never target any area of effect spells. Yeah, it's strength checks for bear traps. And unfortunately, my strength is not that high on my con to damage dwarf. Warlock, who uses constitution and charisma mostly. My very charismatic dwarf. So like this group here, I point straight down, so I land the, oh, you can't see because of the vines, but I point almost straight down, so I land my area of effect attack directly into the middle of the room, and not on one specific monster.
Something rustles in the deep foliage of the room.
Something rustles in the deep foliage. Oh no, someone's jimmies. They're being rustled in the deep foliage of the room. Oh god, I gotta kill these vine horrors faster. The thing is, you're supposed to kill the woodwoads in a very quick, or kill all these monsters in this room to be able to fight the woodwoad, the boss, but when everything spawns in such an area, it doesn't really work. Tell you a little bit about the computer that you use to stream DDO. For sure, I can tell you a little bit about my computer. My computer is not that great. I'll tell you the secrets that I learned to actually playing and streaming video games. The reason I say my computer's not that great, not trying to like throw you off. I don't have it all by memory, so let me just pull it up here, if I can. Ooh, can I? Ooh. Do I have this ability? Oh wait, no. Is it here? Right click. Why can't I get to this? Aha! There we go. Let me tell you some details about my computer that I don't have memorized because this computer's not very good, so I don't really care. I have 14 gigabytes or 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have a Intel Core i7 3770 processor. Ooh, baby. And my graphics card, not recently. I say recently, but it was actually over a year ago. I bought an NVIDIA graphics card here. I have it should be here by memory. Oh, my memory is not here. Oh God. I have this here. Video something. Do. If I can load this up. Oh, it actually doesn't even show up on here when I go to my... Where's the device manager? Device manager, that's what I want, thank you. I love how I'm not playing the game, but I'm still killing the monster. Displays. I have the NVIDIA GeForce GT 640. So again, it's not an amazing card, you know. It's not like it's like this powerhouse of a thing. But I'll tell you the two tricks to make streaming easy. One, you got to make sure you're streaming not at the top quality. So for example, with this, I stream usually 720. I can stream higher, but I only stream at 720, so I'm processing less data. Additionally, both my streaming software and my game and my operating system, all of the things I need while playing video games, all of those things are on solid-state drives. If you don't have a solid-state drive, invest in a solid-state drive. That's going to save you time for every single game. It's the best. If you're a gamer, a solid-state drive is the absolute best investment you can make. It makes almost every game load like grease lightning. So that's why, you know, there's some games that definitely need it, like games like Path of Exile, things like that, where you basically can't play without a solid-state drive. But I'm telling you, if you have your game and your operating system on a solid-state drive, it's better. It's so much better. Wait, like follow like Newegg or one of these other websites. Wait for a sale and then boom, buy yourself some.
I think we should pay him a visit.
Oh yeah, you can run DDO on like nothing. So. Oh yeah, the prices have been great. I've been buying, I bought my last SSD at Canada Computers. Awesome store if you live in Canada. Great computer store. Most of their parts are generally like, they fluctuate. Usually I like to order online. But I got, a 256 SSD for like $80, which was unbelievable. It was such a good price. So, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, sure. If you want to like ban people, that's cool. I don't care if you ban people in the chat. I love banning people in chat. That's like one of the best parts about like being like an online streamer. I don't like to ban... I thought that was you. If you ban somebody, it deletes all their messages, anything they've typed. Because if you ban them, then it means that whatever they're saying is not valuable. And by go in the corner, I mean get out. Get out. I'm gonna be honest, I legitimately thought you were Shoe Heels. I thought that was you. If you ban somebody, it deletes all their messages, anything they've typed. Because if you ban them, then it means that whatever they're saying is not valuable. But yeah, man. So that's essentially what I do. And then to actually do the streaming, I could post if you want. Just send me a message on Twitch if you're actually interested in like the streaming specs and like how I have my stuff set up. I use OBS, Open Broadcast Software. Some people like to use things like XSplit because they've seen it, and I don't really like XSplit that much. XSplit is really great. It has a lot of fantastic properties, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of like professional. If you're doing professional work, I highly recommend XSplit. It's got really good switching capability if you're trying to do like a professional broadcast, things like that. It's really good. But if you are not doing professional broadcasting, you don't need any high, like great switching, things like that. You're not trying to like, organize like a League of Legends tournament or something. Go with Open Broadcast Software. OBS is fantastic. It's really easy to use and set up. It's totally free. You don't get extra features for paying for it or anything. It's just a free piece of software that you can use. No, it's not resource hungry. OBS uses very few resource. Well, you see, Titan, on this stream, we treat men and women equally. Because that's how we do things. Everyone can get banned. If somebody says something rude, I didn't read what it was said, but if somebody says something rude, they get banned. I don't care who you are in real life. Can't be rude. You know what I'm saying? There's actually that very famous song that was on the radio that is completely gone and it is out of people's memory. But I believe, and I quote, it goes, "Why you gotta be so rude?" Just don't be rude, guys. It's easy. You don't want to get banned from chat. Just don't be rude. Again, if you like what I do, if you're watching the stream, you're like, damn, the Strimstream guy is like, ooh. It does have a higher requirement to run than XSplit. Yeah. I'm very fortunate. I can get a relatively cheap connection because well, I say relatively cheap. Like, I have a great connection where I live. It definitely, if you don't live in like a big city, it can be harder to get a good connection. And also, if you live in like some of the monopoly that is in the U.S., it's harder to get a good connection. But I'm very lucky. There's no monopoly where I live, so I got a great connection to the game, man. But yeah, I don't know. Streaming is one of those things that the most important thing about streaming is you have to be aware of like either your audience or what you're trying to do, right? You know, because once you get all the hardware assembled, then what do you do? Something that seems strange, and I didn't think about it at first, but after you do a long stream, especially I've done it before, I've done these like long 8-10 hour streams, I turn off the camera and I'm just dead exhausted. I'm just exhausted because it's just mentally taxing. You have to be thinking about what you're doing, splitting your focus all the time. And it's just, it can get tiresome sometimes. Like I've noticed, like I'll watch my own stream sometimes, and at the end of like an 8 or 9 hour stream, I'm like grouchy at the end of it. And then the moment I turn off the stream, I'm just like, ugh, and I go slump, and I watch TV for like an hour, and I can't do anything. It just gets your brain. But if it is something you're interested in doing, absolutely. Like, see if you can, you know, if, like I said, send me a message, and I'll tell you like the kind of settings that I use that are they're not very hardware intensive. So. Smashing wolves. I really wanted to hit epic levels. I don't think I'm going to hit epic levels today, because I don't know if I'm going to get another 300,000 experience before I go to bed. I got 350,000 on stream, which is a lot more than I thought I was going to. A lot more than I thought I was going to, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, that's not going to be the case tonight. Because after this, once the stream is over, unfortunately I'd love to stream for a little bit extra, or even on my own personal channel. I will later tonight, but just not right away. I have to go to Walmart before it closes. Yeah, man. The one thing that always gets me is, like, if you don't want to interact with the viewers, why are you doing the live stream? You know what I'm saying? It's like all about it. Unless you have like really cool live things, like that Twitch Plays Pokemon. That was so cool. Oh man, I watched that. That was the coolest. And all the memes that came out of it. Ooh, that was cool. But man, you gotta be active. You gotta say hello, welcome. You gotta, remember, if you stop talking, you know, then you let the communists win. So, freedom of speech, man. I exercise my freedoms. I had no idea what that had to do with anything. I'm getting loopy now. Memes. Yeah, man. There are... I don't know if there are any 24-hour Walmarts around where I live. I'm sure there are 24-hour Walmarts in Canada. But the one near my house closes at 11. I used to work at the grocery store that was across the street, and because the Walmart opened at 7 and closed at 11, 7 days a week, we had to change our store hours to compete with the Walmart. So we were like the only store in the city that was open, that wasn't 24 hours, that was open that early on a Sunday, because we had to compete with the Walmart. Well, I got this cup from Zellers. Non-existent companies. Rest in peace, Zellers. Yeah, I don't have any 24-hour Walmarts. I got 24-hour McDonald's. Ooh, man. Do you ever get that feeling when it's like 4 in the morning and you really want a chocolate shake? God, that's sick. Oh, is the South Keys 24/7? Cool, I didn't know that. Alright, I'll have to go there then. Yeah. Praise Helix. Oh, praise the Helix fossil. You'd freak out. Like I said, there are 24-hour stores. Like, The one right next to the college is 24 hours because duh. You don't have 24-hour McDonald's where you live? Dude, what do you do? One of my favorite things is the 24-hour Denny's near my house. Oh, God. It's so great. I love Denny's, man. I'm a huge fan of Denny's. 24-hour Denny's is like my jam. That is like my jam. It's like, what? It's like 3 in the morning, and I just finished raid. Like, I used to do this all the time with one of my friends. I play World of Warcraft. We do raids and stuff. We did like all the mythic raiding in the last expansion. We go to the raids, and at the end of the raid, it's like 2 in the morning, and you'd be like, yo, man, you want to get Denny's? And I'd be like, yeah, man, let's go get Denny's. So then at like 2 in the morning, we just, go drive over to the Denny's and just get some food. Oh, man. And every time you go in there, every single person, like all the waiters are like just like tired and exhausted, and they don't want to listen to you. Oh, my God. They're just like, oh, what can I do for you? Because that Denny's, it was so busy. Every single night between 2 and 6 in the morning, like 2 in the morning and 6 in the morning, there's always people in this goddamn Denny's. And it's so funny. Like, it's like the busiest restaurant in the area. There's all the drunk kids. I'm really close to the college, though, so that makes sense. I know they do Pokemon battles and stuff. It's just the problem with the Twitch-based Pokemon is when you don't have like thousands of people watching it. The issue with that is that it's pretty cohesive. Like, people kind of want the same things, so you can actually play the games. It's not like when you have a lot of people trying to play the game and then nothing works, which is like how Twitch-based Pokemon is supposed to work. You're supposed to have the game where everyone's trying to like stop the game from actually working and running, and nobody gets anywhere. That's when it's the most fun, especially to watch. Because people will struggle for... I remember when it first came out, people struggled for like 8 hours with like 20,000 viewers trying to get anything done, and everyone's spamming different stuff. Twitch chat. Can I spam or zerg this? Oh, I can! Sick! Yeah, man, you gotta feed the hungry. Gotta give the people what they want. We're almost done the stream here, so I have a question for you guys. If you could, outside of fixing the lag, if you could have one thing that's not currently in Dungeons & Dragons Online, what would it be? What's, like, if there's one thing you could just have, what would it be? I'm super curious. I want to know. What's one thing if you guys could just one thing, boom, get it added in the game right now. What would it be? Because I can think of all the things that everybody wants, like the lag to be gone, obviously. But it's cool to see like what you guys just overall want out of the game. More content, okay. Like more quests and things. There are 3 new quests coming out in the next in update 30. There are 31. More bank space, okay, I can see that. No bugs, I like that. That'd be an interesting one. Blink is interesting. I think it would be cool if you could like teleport short distances. Probably crash the servers though, so I don't know if that would work, but more bank space I can totally get behind, or just a searchable bank. If your bank in Kundarak was just boom, all searchable all the time, I'd be happy with that too. Ladders working would be pretty sick, although I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know what a shard mine? Yeah, it must be ladders. It's not a bug, it's a feature, man. The ladders. Yeah. If I could add one thing to the game, it would be probably more cosmetics. But not cosmetics as like armor and stuff, but cosmetics as in like skill and effect cosmetics. So for example, if you could have like barbarians could have like a fiery rage, where when they rage, it like makes a fire effect. Or like a favored soul thing that when you use your leap of faith, your wings stay there. Or like when you're in druid animal forms, different colors or different features you could get for your druid animal forms. That would be mine, like cosmetics that are class based. I think that would be super cool. It would never come into the game because the development time per dollar value is terrible, because you make something that only a subset of the population will do, and it would be totally new. You have to recode stuff. It'll make the money in the long run, but in the short term, it's a horrific investment. But I would love that. That would be my thing. Oh, the working... Yeah. I agree. I think that would be cool. The air jets working better would be nice. Pet cosmetics, yeah. Open PvP would be interesting. I don't know if it'd be good. One thing I'm gonna do, and I'm still working on it. I want to have a PvP league in DDO. I'm gonna try to see if I can set that up. I think it would be cool to have a PvP league. And the idea is just a custom set player versus player league with certain rules that you'd essentially have to abide by to play in the league. So that way, you know, you can actually have like a balanced set of PvP because you just make a set of rules that people have to follow. For example, you know, stuff like, you know, first lives only, things like that. Yeah, exactly. So things like my dream is basically PvP, max level 12, no reincarnations, no named items, and yeah, max level 12, no named items, no reincarnations, and no warlock. Yeah, the developers won't work on PvP, but I think it would be cool to have like a PvP league where people that like the idea can just play it. Oh no, I got bear trapped. Yeah, it's just no warlocks, level 12, no named items, and no reincarnations. It's first lives only. And then with a system set up like that, you're essentially left with the rest of the base classes, and then you just play the different game modes, whether it's capture the flag, or the team deathmatch, things like that. If you haven't seen a lot of the maps, I highly recommend you go, just get a friend or do it by yourself. Go and try to join the PvP arena, the Quickfoot hideout for capture the flag. It's super cool looking. Like, it has all these air jets and things. Man, I love the Quickfoot hideout. It's super cool. If you haven't gotten a chance, I'd recommend looking by it. Oh yeah, well the problem with Lobster PvP is level 30 players, right? Level 30 players are going to instantly kill everybody. Stronger than iron, I can't break these. Why can't I break these? Do I have to kill these wisps? Maybe I have to kill the wisps. Too easy to get raids complete? Yeah, the problem with raids being too easy to complete is past lives. Sort of. The thing about the restrictions is that placing if we place restrictions on the game, it means Turbine developers don't have to do anything, and we can have PvP that we can play. Right? Any kind of like code-based application or like change to PvP would obviously be better, but it would involve like development time, and I don't want that. I do not want development time spent on PvP. I want development time spent on cool quests and updates to classes, and all sorts of stuff like that. PvP, if we want it, we can figure it out ourselves. We have the tools available to us. A good example is a game like Path of Exile's PvP. Path of Exile's PvP, for the longest time, was run by... Once it was added to the game, it was run by players. People figured out, okay, to make functional PvP work, because it doesn't work in the regular game, you know, you have minimum or maximum level 35 PvP, and you can't play if you're higher than level 35, and you spec out your character, and you do all this other stuff, because that's like a good cap. And like I said, we just have to figure it out on our own. If there's a bit of interest, it'll work, right? So. Exactly. Better armor for Warforged would be sick. I would love to see more armor types, or a medium armor feat. So like barbarians that get medium armor things, and if you're playing a favored soul, medium armor. A medium armor feat for Warforged would be very cool. Alright, I think I can do this. I don't want to listen to the song though. I'm going to swap this song out real quick. There's a song I want to listen to. It's in here. If I start getting attacked, it's fine. I'll kill the guy with my AFK. Yeah, this song's good. AFK build, let's go. Oh, is the game lagging? I think the game is lagging, which is a problem. SP pots for platinum would be pretty good. I think I'm not actually against that idea. It's one of those things that I always found very strange, that you can't get SP pots, but you can get HP pots. I think it's obvious that spell point pots are better than... Another thing, actually, I would like to see is a gold sink. There has to be some kind of gold sink. Something you can spend your gold on that's, like, really good. Yeah, the hireling with the, with DVs is good as well. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, they actually changed it. The last patch upped the drop rate on them, by the way. But here's the problem. What if there's nothing on the auction house that I actually want? Oh, there's still something alive out here? What's alive? Oh my god. It's just a druid, like, just chilling, like, not fighting. Take a Lobian PV with someone who's 10 levels higher. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how they would fix Lobster PvP. Lobster PvP was really good before people got super overpowered, because you could even have, like, low-level characters ganging up on high-level ones. I'm blind! Here we go. Exactly. I find it annoying. Like, I just give gold to players. I just find people and I just give it to them because, like, I have no use for gold. It has no purpose on my character. Because everything I want is only for astral shards, and you can't turn astral shards into gold. So, like if I want to buy dragon scales, people only sell dragon scales for astral shards. But so I can't spend all my gold on it because people don't want gold because it's a valueless resource. So that's what I would like. I would also like a use for gold. If there's some kind of cool gold sink, like places where you could spend your gold to buy stuff. So like if there's like an XP pot that costs 1,000,000 plats, so then the plat market actually comes back. Yeah, man, in Stash. That was sick. The problem with the plat cap is it's actually just a max. It's a full boolean. Or not a boolean. What is it? One of the integers? It's essentially just a capped integer. So that's why they can't increase the cap, because it's probably hard-coded in. Ooh, Druid's Deep. So let's go hand in this quest. Give me some kind of good reward. Ooh, baby! Impressive trophy. I'm not even going to read anything else. I want that 500 guild rep. Talk to this guy, and he's like, yo, man, would you like any of these items? And I'm like, Forester's Brush Hook? No. Thunderstorm Crescent? Nah. Ooh, commendations. You know what? I'll take Druid's Deep. Druid's... Yeah, that would be interesting. Like I said, I'd just like something you can dump your points on, because having actually use for gold, it means the gold would come back to the auction house, because no one's going to sell dragon scales for even like 3 million gold or 3 million plats, because there's nothing, you can't use plats for anything. It's not impossible to store something larger than an integer, but it's just that the code is probably so far in there, it's probably hard to change. Alrighty, well, I had a lot of fun today, you guys. I did enjoy getting to stream for all of you, but unfortunately it is 10 o'clock. We're nearing the end of the stream. By nearing, I mean I'm going to be turning it off like very, very shortly. So if you liked what you saw and you had a lot of fun, you can go here and catch more Strimstream when I stream at a very irregular rate. Additionally, if you want to follow me on Twitter so you know exactly when I'm streaming, it's up there on screen at Strimstream. And finally, I'm a member of the DDO Players Council. So one of the reasons I actually asked you guys is because I'm just interested to hear what kind of things you guys are interested in from the game. If you have more ideas and you're like, man, I want a guy to like fight for me for my ideas, you can always send me an email at streamtom@gmail.com, and I'm available there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I had a super fun time with the stream tonight. It's always wonderful when I have an active chat and we get to talk about stuff. That's the best time. If you watch some of like the VODs, sometimes they're not so great because the chat's not saying anything, and I need you guys. I need you guys. So it's been awesome. Yeah, I might stream on my own channel later tonight, but probably not. But I will definitely be streaming again later this week on my own personal channel, so if you like what you saw, please follow. Anyways, have an awesome, super duper wonderful evening, and I will catch you guys next week for sure. Bye.